Chapter 269. In the Blue Moon's Secret Realm. The enchanted beast had not left for more than 10 minutes. After hearing Thalink's analysis, Yuhauran was overjoyed and could not help but heave a sigh of relief. If not for the fact that he had coincidentally encountered the heavily injured and unconscious purple golden condor in the process of chasing the enchanted beast and used healing elixirs and alchemy techniques to heal him, he would have been willing to send him on his way. It was simply impossible to fly across tens of thousands of miles in less than an hour. Now that he had finally caught up to the enchanted beast, it was not in vain that he had temporarily given up on the level 4 spirit stones in the cave. It was also not in vain that he had spent so much effort to save the purple golden condor. Yuhauran, the second situation is that this grassland is exactly the same as the Red Rocks. It has also offset a portion of the Secret Realm's rules, allowing me to use the power of my divine sense. And this situation shows that this huge white wolf, whose strength cannot be seen through, is probably a terrifying beast that is not inferior to the purple golden condor. Just as Yuhauran was rejoicing, Thalink's grave warning suddenly sounded in his mind. However, Yuhauran did not panic because of Thalink's warning. He first tried to see if he could activate the Vajra monkey's blood essence in his body. Luckily, the grassland offset the rules of the secret technique, allowing him to activate the Vajra monkey's blood essence in his body. This allowed him to calmly face the huge white wolf in front of him. "You look at me, I look at you." Yuhauran's gaze only swept across the spirit medicine, spirit stones, and spirit liquid placed in front of the white wolf. There was not a trace of greed in his eyes. The giant white wolf looked at Yuhauran with interest in its eyes, but there was no hostility at all. "Senior, I would like to enter the Secret Realm's spirit cave. Is that possible?" After looking at each other for nearly a minute, Yuhauran broke the silence with a respectful expression and asked first, "Human cultivator, are you chasing after the enchanting beast?" The white wolf asked meaningfully, neither agreeing nor rejecting Zhang Xian's request. "That's right. The enchanted beast captured all the disciples who were training in the secret realm and prepared to use the blood sacrifice technique to leave the Blue Moon's secret realm. Among the captured disciples, there are my junior brothers and my relatives. Some of them have already lost their lives, so I have no choice but to—" "Human warrior, the grudge between you and the enchanted beast has nothing to do with me," the giant white wolf said impatiently, interrupting Yuhauran's explanation. "Although I don't know what means you have to be able to chase the enchanted beast into the depths of the secret realm with the cultivation of a peak 9th grade martial warrior, since you have such means, it means you have the ability to kill the enchanted beast." At this point, the giant white wolf put away the spiritual medicine, spiritual stones, and spiritual liquid placed in front of him, then stood up and ordered in a condescending manner, "Human warrior, if you want to enter my territory and enter the depths of the secret realm, you can. But I have a condition." "Senior, please say it." Being oppressed by the giant white wolf's condescending manner, although he was not very comfortable, in order to enter the spirit cave in the depths of the secret realm as soon as possible and capture the enchanted beast, Yuhauran could only choose to endure for now. In the storage space of the enchanted beast, there is a 6th level 1st grade transformation grass. I want you to give this transformation grass to me after you kill the enchanted beast. When the transformation grass was mentioned, the giant white wolf's breathing quickened. "Senior, are you sure there is a transformation grass in the storage space of the enchanted beast?" Yuhauran asked in disbelief. The transformation grass was a very unique spiritual medicine. It had no effect on human warriors, but to other creatures, it could be said to be the most desirable spiritual medicine in the world. This was because the transformation grass could allow them to transform into the shape of a human when they reached the 8th level. As the lord of all creatures, the structure of the human body was the most suitable physique for cultivation. For example, an exotic beast with the bloodline of an emperor would need about 10 years to advance from the 10th level 1st grade to the 9th level 1st grade. For human warriors, Even the most ordinary ones would need at most 2 to 3 years to advance from the martial disciple realm to the martial warrior realm. For a peerless genius like Howren with outstanding talent and aptitude, it would only take a few months. The difference in time between the two was more than 10 times. Whether it was a super exotic beast with the bloodline of an emperor or an ordinary exotic beast with an ordinary bloodline, they were all crazy about the transformation grass. However, the quantity of the transformation grass was comparable to that of a martial god expert. It was just that they had only heard of it. In his previous life, Howren had explored many ruins, forbidden lands, and countless secret realms. Let alone finding the transformation grass, he couldn't even find a trace of it. Therefore, Howren was in disbelief when he heard that the enchanted beast's storage space actually had the transformation grass. "I'm very sure," the huge white wolf said hatefully, nodding its head. "Because I was originally the exotic beast guarding the transformation grass. Moreover, I personally witnessed the enchanted beast snatching the transformation grass." Thinking back to how it had mysteriously left the transformation grass that it had been guarding all this time and watched the enchanted beast snatch the transformation grass, the white wolf's body emitted a murderous aura that could change the color of heaven and earth. Taking a deep breath, the huge white wolf adjusted the murderous aura in its heart and continued to explain calmly. Human cultivators, although many exotic beasts are unable to break through the limit of the 9th rank due to the influence of the rules of the demon sealing secret realm, they can only watch themselves grow old and die in the end. However, to special exotic beasts like me and the enchanted beast, the restrictions of the secret realm's rules are very small. The reason why we didn't choose to break through to the 9th rank immediately is because we want to accumulate enough potential and strength to fight for the opportunity in the future. However, if this opportunity is compared to the transformation grass, I think all exotic beasts would probably choose the transformation grass. This is also the main reason why the enchanted beast didn't hesitate to sacrifice so many lives to leave the demon sealing secret realm. "I see." Nodding, Howren finally understood why the white wolf was so sure that the enchanted beast's storage space had the transformation grass. However, Howren's tone changed and he didn't make any guarantees. "Senior, other than the enchanted beast, there are also Pallas whose strength is unknown in the depths of the secret realm. If the enchanted beast is willing to exchange the transformation grass in order to save its own life, this junior can't guarantee that I can get the transformation grass back for you." Howren wanted the transformation grass that could make all exotic beasts go crazy without doing anything. How could he, who valued treasures as much as his life, give it away for free? However, the white wolf could rely on its own strength to offset part of the rules of the secret realm. This meant that its strength was not inferior to the purple golden condor. Although the purple golden condor was only at the 9th rank of the 9th rank, its true strength was already at the 3rd rank of the martial king realm. Chapter 270. In the Blue Moon's Secret Realm. This. Faced with Howren's promise that he could not fulfill, the white wolf fell into deep thought. This was because what Howren said earlier was not wrong. With the ecstasy beast's character of cherishing its life, if it was really forced into a desperate situation by the human warrior in front of it, it would definitely take out the transformation herb that even the scarlet-loathed beast could not refuse. And the temperamental Pallas was the only person in the demon sealing secret realm that the white wolf did not want and could not offend. Human warrior, if the transformation herb really falls into Pallas' hands, then the agreement between you and me will be null and void. Compared to possessing the physique of a human, its own life was more important. Therefore, the white wolf, who knew when to advance and when to retreat, finally chose to take a step back. "Senior, can you let me pass now?" Through the observation of the Thalink's divine sense, he discovered that this grassland was only 1,000 miles away from the spirit cave in the deepest part of the secret realm. He was worried that the enchanted beast would use the method of seduction to gain Pallas' sympathy and be willing to help him stop him, or be willing to send him out of the secret realm. Therefore, Yuhauran wanted to quickly enter the depths of the secret realm and try his best to capture the enchanted beast in advance without alerting Palace. I can't take advantage of you for nothing. Let me send you on your way. Seeing a trace of urgency between Yuhauran's brows, the white wolf knew that Yuhauran was anxious to kill him before the enchanted beast found Palace. And this was exactly what the white wolf desired. Therefore, without much hesitation, not only did he take the initiative to give way, but he was also willing to help Yuhauran. Not allowing Yuhauran to agree or reject, the white wolf opened its mouth and spat out a ball of white energy. The white energy wrapped around Yuhauran, and without him noticing, it disappeared from the spot. He did not feel anything at all and did not notice the passage of time. After the white energy disappeared, Yuhauran found himself on the other side of the grassland. Was it 1 second or 2 seconds? Yuhauran could no longer remember. However, the white energy ball was able to travel thousands of miles in such a short period of time. Yuhauran was extremely shocked by the white wolf's strength and methods. Yuhauran, this white wolf is definitely not simple. I think it might have the bloodline of the ancient divine beast, Sky Howling Wolf. The pagoda genie, who was also shocked by the strength and means displayed by the white wolf, could not help but guess after waking up. Pagoda spirit, let's ignore the white wolf's origins for now. Hurry up and search for traces of the enchanting beast. Although the white wolf's abilities and methods, Yuhauran did not forget his task and quickly reminded. Quick, the beast is. Crossing the entire grassland, Thaling wanted to try if he could use his divine telekinesis. If he could not use his divine telekinesis, then he could use the mark left on the enchanted beast to track it. After Thaling expanded his divine telekinesis, he realized that the space across the grassland was not restricted by the secret realm's rules and he could use his full divine telekinesis. Under such circumstances, he immediately locked onto the enchanted beast and saw why it was rushing forward. Thaling, give me a hand. Although the distance of less than 10 miles was not far, it was impossible to catch up with the enchanted beast with his pinnacle martial technique. Therefore, he could only ask Thaling for help. This was because Thaling's divine telekinesis could help him increase his speed by dozens of times. There was no need for Yuhauran's reminder. A huge force of divine sense directly acted on his body, causing his speed, which was originally faster than the wind, to increase by dozens of times. 9 miles. 8 miles. With the help of Thaling's divine telekinesis, Yuhauran could get within 1 mile of the enchanted beast every 5 seconds. However, when he was less than 4 miles away from the enchanted beast and could vaguely see the enchanted beast's figure, the enchanted beast also noticed Yuhauran. Seeing Yuhauran chasing after it, the enchanted beast's face showed a hint of anxiety. It did not expect Yuhauran to find it so quickly and did not expect the white wolf to not stop Yuhauran. Sensing that Yuhauran was getting closer and closer, the enchanted beast finally gritted its teeth and took out a drop of milky white liquid from its storage ring and swallowed it. 1,000-year spirit milk, what a waste! Although Yuhauran could not see the enchanted beast's actions clearly, Thaling, who had been using divine telekinesis to lock onto him, could see it clearly. Seeing that the enchanted beast had wasted a drop of the 1,000-year spirit milk, which was comparable to a top-rank 5 elixir, in order to increase its speed, Thaling could not help but complain. 1,000-year spirit milk was a kind of spirit milk that was slowly formed after thousands or even tens of thousands of years in a place rich in spirit chi. This spirit milk was different from the spirit milk produced by a rank 5 upper spiritual vein. Not only did the 1,000-year spirit milk contain pure spirit chi, it also contained a trace of the power of law. If a martial artist at the peak of the 9th grade martial emperor realm used 1 or 2 drops of the 1,000-year spirit milk, there was a 70 to 80% chance that they could comprehend the power of law and use it to break through to the martial saint realm. If Yu Haoran could use the 1,000-year spirit milk when he broke through to the martial ancestor realm, not only would it increase his cultivation and potential, it would also allow him to further understand himself and comprehend the power of law that was suitable for him in advance. Seeing the enchanted beast's sudden increase in speed, Yu Haoran could not help but frown. Thaling, can you use divine telekinesis to directly attack or obstruct it? With the help of Thaling's divine telekinesis, his current speed had basically reached the limit. If he wanted to increase his speed, Thaling could do it, but his body would not be able to withstand the friction and collisions caused by the air currents, which would eventually cause his body to collapse. I'm afraid it's not possible. Thaling shook his head and explained. If it was before that grassland, I could still use divine telekinesis to obstruct the enchanted beast's speed, but now... Thaling sighed helplessly as his divine telekinesis swept past Pallas, who was standing in the spirit cave and enduring the impact of the mixture of spirit chi and strong winds. Forget it, we're almost at the end anyway. It's just a matter of time. Although Thaling did not say it explicitly, Yu Haoran knew what he was afraid of from his side just now. In the end, he could only console him. Big Brother Chi Yen. With the help of a drop of precious 1,000-year spirit milk, the enchanted beast quickly arrived in front of the spirit cave. However, its weak body did not dare to approach the spirit cave at all. This was because the air currents formed by the mixture of strong winds and spirit chi were powerful enough to tear apart the bodies of exotic beasts of level 7 and above. Therefore, standing on a rock a few kilometers away from the spirit cave, the enchanted beast directly controlled a tabby cat and shouted loudly. You and I have already severed all ties. Why are you still looking for me? Pallas, who was enjoying the impact of the air currents, slowly opened his eyes and looked coldly at the enchanted beast, questioning him coldly. Seeing Pallas's clear eyes, the enchanted beast could not help but breathe a sigh of relief. Chapter 271. In the Blue Moon's Secret Realm. Big Brother Chi Yen, it's all my fault. I don't ask Big Brother Chi Yen to avenge Ling Yuan. I only hope that Big Brother Chi Yen can send me out of the secret realm so that I won't be slaughtered by that murderous god. The enchanted beast begged with an extremely sorrowful expression while secretly observing Pallas's expression. The enchanted beast could not help but feel elated when he saw that Pallas's originally cold expression had revealed a trace of sadness. He then hurriedly knelt on the ground and recounted the events of Ling Yuan's death while grieving in agony. Big Brother Chi Yen, Ling Yuan died a horrible death. Not only was his newly condensed spirit dispersed, even his spiritual vein had been plundered by that murderous god. He didn't even have the chance to regain his consciousness. Impossible! When he heard the enchanted beast's sorrowful account of Ling Yuan's death, Pallas hurriedly shook his head to express that he did not believe it. In his mind, even though Yu Haoran was a decisive killer, he was definitely not a bloodthirsty and cruel person. At the very most, he would have killed Ling Yuan's spirit and taken away a portion of his precious spirit stones. He would never have killed Ling Yuan's original body and would never have directly destroyed the life force that allowed him to regain his consciousness. Big Brother Chi Yen, Ling Yuan and I have been close brothers for over 100 years. Do you think that I would joke around with my brother's life? When the enchanted beast saw that Pallas did not believe what he had just said, he instantly knew that his relationship with that human ancient martial art practitioner was not shallow. Therefore, he did not hesitate to use Ling Yuan's life as a guarantee so that Pallas could quickly send him out of the secret realm. As long as he could leave the secret realm, he would definitely be able to make a name for himself in the outside world with his many years of collection, the hundreds of drops of 1,000-year-old spiritual milk, and the transformation grass that could transform into a human. The only thing that he regretted was that now that he had left the secret realm, he would not have Ling Yuan's inexhaustible source of energy, nor would he have the crystal marrow that could increase his aptitude and talent, cultivation, and power. That's too much. When he saw the enchanted beast swear on Ling Yuan's life, Pallas instinctively chose to believe what the enchanted beast had just said. While he was dissatisfied with Yu Haoran's cruel methods, he also felt sympathy for Enchanted Soul. Enchanted Soul, don't worry, I won't let anything happen to you. As the saying goes, what you hear is false, but seeing is believing. Just as the Scarlet Loathe believed the Ecstasy Beast's words and was willing to help him, a familiar voice suddenly came from not far away. As the voice faded, Yu Haoran, who had used his peak realm footwork martial technique to rush to the spirit cave, greeted the Scarlet Loathe beast enthusiastically. Haoran. In the face of Yu Haoran's enthusiastic greeting, the dissatisfied Scarlet Loathe did not give him a good look. However, Yu Haoran did not mind. With the help of Thaling's divine sense, he had heard every single word and action of the enchanted beast. He also knew why Pallas was dissatisfied with him. Enchanted Soul, you told Brother Qi that not only did I destroy Ling Yuan's soul, but I also harvested his original body, making it impossible for him to regain his consciousness. Yu Haoran asked with a smile. That's right. The enchanted beast nodded and admitted with the help of the cat's mouth. Then, did you see it with your own eyes, or was it your own guess? Yu Haoran asked with a smile. Even if I didn't see it with my own eyes, I'm sure you won't let Brother Ling Yuan off the hook. You killed 200 of my precious beasts with just a single blackbirth orb that was laced with poison. Although the enchanted beast wanted to say that he saw it with his own eyes, he was afraid that Yu Haoran would ask about the details of how he killed Ling Yuan. Therefore, the enchanted beast could only use other methods to prove that Yu Haoran was a cruel and bloodthirsty person. Brother Qi, do you believe the enchanted beast's words, or do you believe in Yu Haoran's character? Yu Haoran did not expose the enchanted beast's lies. Instead, he turned his head and directly tested Pallas's choice. Brother Yu, to be honest, I believe in your character from the bottom of my heart. However, based on what Enchanted Soul and Ling Yuan did to your disciples, I also believe in Enchanted Soul's words. Faced with Yu Haoran's choice, Pallas stated his judgment without bias. Brother Qi, not only did I not destroy Ling Yuan's body, but I also did not harm his soul. Are you willing to believe me? Yu Haoran secretly heaved a sigh of relief at Pallas's answer. This meant that he was not bewitched by the enchanted beast, and he had a chance to defend himself. Before Pallas could answer, the enchanted beast's cat jumped out and refuted. Impossible. I saw with my own eyes that you transformed into a rank 5 Vajra monkey. Furthermore, you wielded a golden staff that could change in size and thickness. Not only did you injure Ling Yuan all over, you even used up half of his origin energy. That's right. Yu Haoran nodded in response to Pallas's questioning gaze. He did not deny what he had done. However, soon after, a look of anger appeared on his face as he continued. I don't know who dispelled the rules of the secret realm within 1,000 miles of the upper rank 5 spiritual pulse. Not only did the 209 mutated beasts that Enchanted Soul nurtured break through the restrictions of the secret realm, reaching rank 7 and rank 6, but even the upper rank 5 spiritual pulse broke through to rank 5 and condensed a godly soul. A rank 5 spiritual pulse, a godly soul, is equivalent to a human martial emperor. In the face of such a powerful opponent, and an enemy who wants to take my life, how can I be merciful? Hearing Yu Haoran mention the rules of the secret realm that caused the disappearance of the spiritual pulse, Pallas's face flashed with an apologetic look. Furthermore, under the influence of this apologetic look, he could not help but nod in agreement with Yu Haoran's explanation. You with the surname Yu, since you're my and Brother Ling Yuan's sworn enemy, how could you let Ling Yuan go so easily when you had the absolute advantage? The enchanted beast seemed to have found a flaw in Yu Haoran's explanation and quickly attacked him. It looked at Yu Haoran with glee, waiting to see how he would defend himself. That's right. Brother Yu, how do you explain this? Pallas nodded in agreement with the enchanted beast's question and continued to ask. Brother Chi, you and I are both prideful people. We would rather perish together with powerful enemies than slaughter weak creatures, right? Yu Haoran did not immediately refute the enchanted beast's question. Instead, he secretly flattered Pallas. Chapter 272. Unlucky. I don't know if it was because of the thunderstorm or the machine overheating, but the notebook that had accompanied Yenyun for 7 years was suddenly destroyed. The 3 chapters that were supposed to be updated today were gone. She could only use the computer at work to secretly write them. So, the 5 chapters might be updated later today. In front of the spirit cave in the depths of the arcane realm. Brother Yu, you're right. Actually, you, enchanted soul, and I are all favored by the heavens. We've been protected by the heavens since we were born. Our strength is far superior to our peers. Therefore, when facing weak creatures, even if we can't help them, we can't bully the weak and kill them ruthlessly. Nodding, the scarlet-loathed beast suddenly felt as though it had met a soulmate. This soulmate was the source of the poison. It was something that his peers in the arcane realm could not give him. Yu Haoran was overjoyed when he saw the relieved smile in the scarlet-loath's eyes. This was because he knew that his flattery just now had made the red-loath's attitude change a lot. Therefore, he took the opportunity to directly target the enchanting beast and questioned it in a low voice. Enchanted soul, when I was fighting with Spirit Source, as his brother, why didn't you help him when you saw that he was at a disadvantage? I'm only good at controlling the minds of creatures. I'm not good at close-range combat. Faced with Yu Haoran's question, the enchanted beast instinctively took a step back. However, he still refuted stubbornly. Not being good at close-range combat is a reasonable explanation. To the surprise of the enchanted beast and Pallas, Yu Haoran did not refute. Instead, he agreed with the enchanted beast's rebuttal. However, Yu Haoran's expression changed immediately. He raised his voice and questioned. Even if you're not good at close-range combat because of your body, you can still support Spirit Source from the back. Then, why did you run away alone when Spirit Source was at a disadvantage? I didn't. The enchanted beast instinctively took 2 steps back and refuted, clearly lacking in confidence. Yu Haoran ignored the enchanted beast's rebuttal and continued to raise his voice. It's fine if you run away alone. After all, you're a coward who's afraid of death. But, why did you steal Spirit Source's storage ring when you escaped? Nonsense. When the enchanted beast heard Yu Haoran expose its selfish actions, it took 3 steps back in fear and continued to deny it. Similarly, Yu Haoran ignored the ecstasy beast's denial and turned to speak to the scarlet loath. Brother Chi, if I were to tell you that not only did I not sever his spirit source and regain his consciousness, but even his soul was not harmed, would you believe me? Impossible. Before Pallas could answer Yu Haoran's question, the enchanted beast, who had just calmed down, hurriedly questioned him loudly. Yu Haoran ignored it and continued to stare at Pallas. What's the reason? Pallas did not say whether he believed it or not. He only wanted Yu Haoran to give him a reasonable reason. Brother Chi, although Spirit Source used the disappearance of the rules of the secret realm to break through to the first rank of the 5th step and condense his soul, he had too little contact with living beings and his life experience was very shallow. This caused his mind to remain at that of a child. As the enchanted beast who grew up with him and taught him how to cultivate, you could say that he was both his elder brother and his parents. At this point, Yu Haoran suddenly pointed at the enchanted beast and reprimanded it angrily. Faced with the betrayal of his elder brother and parents, how could Spirit Source, who only had the mind of a child, accept it? After enchanted beast stole Spirit Source's 100 years of collection and secretly escaped from the spirit vein, Spirit Source was unable to accept the blow of betrayal from his family and love. His mind was completely sealed, and he sank into a state of self-recollection. To us human ancient martial art practitioners, such a state of self-sealing basically means that he is useless and an idiot. At this point, Yuharan took a deep breath and asked with a sorrowful expression, "Brother Chi, do you think I could bear to kill such a useless person who could not retaliate? Enchanted beast, you deserve to die." After hearing what Enchanted Beast had done to Spirit Source, Pallas, who had always valued friendship, could no longer control the anger in his heart. He glared at the Enchanted Beast with murderous eyes. However, when he saw the human-shaped spiritual herb in the Enchanted Beast's hand, the murderous Pallas was stunned. Sigh. Yuharan used all kinds of verbal advantages and instigation to stir up the Scarlet Loath's murderous intent towards the enchanting beast. He originally thought that with this, he could make the Scarlet Loath give up the possibility of helping the enchanting beast. However, when he saw the enchanted beast take out the shape-shifting spiritual herb and Pallas' reaction, Yuharan knew that everything he had done was in vain. If he wanted to capture the enchanted beast alive and use it to merge Spirit Source's soul into his destiny ritual implement, he could not rely on Pallas. Therefore, Yuharan decided to use force and the power of the shape-shifting secret technique to force Pallas to not interfere in the feud between him and the enchanted beast. "Yuharan, if you really can't do it, just give up." Thaling knew what Yuharan was going to do when he sensed that he had started to activate the Vajra monkey's blood essence in his meridians. Although the pagoda spirit was also unwilling to give up the spirit source, it had risked using its divine sense to check the Scarlet Loath's strength. It knew that even if Yuharan activated the full power of the Vajra monkey's blood essence, he would not be able to withstand 3 moves from the Scarlet Loath. This was because Pallas's strength had far surpassed the 5th level, which was the limit of the peak of the martial emperor realm. If not for the fact that there were no laws in the arcane realm, he would not only be a martial sage who had comprehended the power of laws, he might even be a martial honorable who had mastered the power of laws. Because you are no match for Pallas. Even if you risk the most serious backlash from the shape-shifting secret technique, you would not be able to withstand 3 moves from him. Yuharan was stunned by the cruel reality that Thaling had pointed out. Although he knew that Pallas was very strong enough to withstand the power of the arcane realm's rules, based on the few encounters he had with Pallas in his previous life, he felt that Pallas's strength was at most at the peak of the martial emperor realm. If he activated all of the Vajra monkey's blood essence and used it with the As I Wish staff, it was not impossible for him to win. But what about what Thaling had pointed out? Yuharan smiled bitterly as he dispersed the blood essence that had just been activated in his meridians. He immediately turned around and prepared to leave. Bewitchment and shape-shifting grass are indeed irresistible to living beings other than human warriors. But to me, Pallas, who has inherited the bloodline of my 3 ancestors, I prefer my current form. Just as Yuharan was about to turn around and leave, Pallas, who had been silent for a long time, suddenly spoke. "So, I will not accept the shape-shifting grass." "Of course, since I will not accept the shape-shifting grass, you will have to pay the price for what you have done to the spirit source." Hearing that Pallas had rejected the shape-shifting grass, Yuharan could not help but stop in his tracks and look at Pallas in shock. Chapter 273. Deep in the secret realm, in front of the spirit cave. Yuharan, do you know why Pallas was able to resist the temptation of the transformation grass? Although Yuharan was very surprised and puzzled by the Scarlet Loath's unexpected choice, the Tower Genie suddenly figured out one thing. It was a shocking secret that he had discovered when he had spied on the Scarlet Loath's strength. "I don't know." Yuharan shook his head and replied. "When I took the risk to check on Pallas's strength just now, I discovered that the 3 ancient bloodlines in his body were fusing together." Yuharan, if the 3 ancient divine beasts' bloodlines could fuse into a new bloodline, Pallas, as a new species born between heaven and earth, would be rewarded by the heavenly axiom. As for what the reward would be, I don't know because I have never experienced it. However, if we were to talk about who in the Tianxian continent is most likely to surpass Emperor Wu's peak and become an immortal Einherjar, it would not be you, Howren, nor would it be the genius disciples of the top sections. It would be Pallas, who would be rewarded by the heavenly axiom. I see. After listening to Thaling's explanation, Howren finally understood why Pallas was able to resist the temptation of the transformation grass. After all, even a fool would know what to choose between the opportunity to transform into a human and the reward from the heavenly axiom to become a divine beast. However, to Howren's surprise, the enchanted beast did not panic at Pallas's rejection. Instead, it spoke with confidence. Big Brother Chi, I know that you, who inherited the bloodlines of 3 divine beasts, disdained to transform into a human. I also know that you don't like to use external items to increase your strength. However, what about your brother, Poison Source? I think in the Demon Sealing's secret realm, Poison Source is the most likely mutated beast to transform into a human. Hearing the ecstasy beast mention the source of the poison, the Scarlet Loathe, who originally had a firm expression, suddenly showed a hint of hesitation. They had known each other for hundreds of years. Of course, Pallas knew what Poison Source's biggest wish was. However, Pallas was unwilling to let go of the enchanted beast, who was the source of Poison Source, in order to transform into a human. Brother Chi, can you listen to me? Seeing that the Scarlet Loathe was caught in a dilemma, Howren knew that he had to step in. Otherwise, if he continued to be pressured by the ecstasy beast, the Scarlet Loathe would definitely agree to the ecstasy beast's request for the poison source. Brother please speak. Pallas he turned to look at Howren's face of the demon's face was of struggle. Brother Chi, ever since I, Howren, stepped onto the path of cultivation, I have always insisted on advancing my cultivation level and my physical body simultaneously. Therefore, I have a unique view on the cultivation and state of the body. At this moment, Brother Chi's demonic power is boiling and your body is glowing. Obviously, you are on the verge of a breakthrough. Howren's face didn't turn red, and his heart didn't beat fast as he made up a lie. For cultivators like us, a breakthrough is the most important thing. Let alone a transformation grass. Even if there is a divine elixir that can make one an Einherjar, I am afraid that I will have to wait until I have a breakthrough. Brother you are right. Hearing Howren mention his demonic power boiling and his body glowing, Pallas was stunned at first. Pallas himself did not feel any demonic power boiling. However, when he heard about the importance of a breakthrough, he immediately knew that Howren wanted him to use a breakthrough as an excuse to get out of the predicament temporarily and leave everything to him. Thank you for your reminder, Brother After thanking Howren, Pallas did not ask for the enchanted beast's opinion and returned to the spirit cave in a flash. Moreover, with his strong body, he went directly into the deepest part of the spirit cave. Unless he also went into the deepest part of the spirit cave, he would not be able to alert Pallas just by shouting. Mihun, isn't it time to settle the score between us now? Seeing that Pallas understood his plan and immediately carried it out, Howren activated the Vajra monkey's blood essence in his body and said with a grim smile. A genius among human warriors. In this storage ring, there are more than 200 kinds of spiritual herbs of level 7 and above, and more than 400 spiritual stones of level 4 and above, as well as countless other precious treasures. Facing Howren's grim threat, the enchanted beast still did not panic. He first put away the transformation grass, then took out a simple storage ring from somewhere and tempted Howren. Not enough. Facing the storage ring taken out by the enchanted beast, Howren shook his head and refused while continuing to use the blood essence to increase his strength and height. Except for the 3 treasures in this storage ring, the rest of the treasures are all yours, Brother Knowing that it was impossible to move Howren with just the spiritual source's storage ring, the enchanting beast took out its own storage ring and began to take out treasures that were irresistible to Howren. a green crystal flower of level 7 and above that has reached 5,000 years of age. It can increase a warrior's perception. A tea flower of level 7 and above that has reached 4,000 years of age. It can increase a warrior's perception and has a certain chance of touching upon the power of law. A ginseng grass of level 7 and above that has reached 8,000 years of age. It can directly increase one's movement and footwork skills by 1 realm. 300 spiritual stones of level 4, first to level 3. 160 spiritual stones of level 4, fourth to level 6. 30 spiritual stones of level 4, seventh to level 9. Every time he took out a treasure from the storage ring, the enchanted beast would explain in detail the origin, use, and effects of the treasure. Although the enchanted beast tried its best to pretend that it did not care, the pain in its eyes showed that it was not willing to take out these treasures. Unfortunately, although Yuhauran was ecstatic when the enchanted beast kept taking out treasures, he did not stop his transformation. He waited until his body was 59 meters tall and his strength reached the peak of level 9 Martial King before he stopped the blood essence. Then, Yuhauran shook his head and said with a big mouth, "Bewitching, using the temptation of treasures to make me let you live, this trick will not work on me, Yuhauran. Because according to my style of doing things, as long as I kill you, both storage rings will be mine, not to mention the treasures in the storage rings." After making his attitude clear, Yuhauran stretched out a huge hand and grabbed the enchanted beast. With 1 storage ring in each hand, the enchanted beast held it in the palm of his hand. Its cute face showed a trace of ruthlessness. Chapter 274. In the depths of the secret realm, in front of the spirit cave. Unfortunately, Yuhauran ignored the enchanted beast's desperate threat. He knew that the enchanted beast, who was afraid of death, would not dare to destroy the only thing that could save its life, the storage ring. He who said, "I'm going to kill you. I'm going to use your life to awaken the spirit's source." While pointing out a way for the enchanted beast to survive, he quickly grabbed the enchanted beast. Using its own life to awaken the spiritual source? Hearing Yuhauran's words, which sounded like he was mumbling to himself, but also like a deliberate reminder, the enchanting beast's shaky confidence instantly loosened. Taking advantage of the moment when the enchanted beast relaxed, the giant palm grabbed him. At the same time, Thaling used his divine sense to seal the enchanted beast and put it into the victor. After successfully capturing the enchanted beast, Yuhauran could not help but breathe a sigh of relief. Then, he clenched his left fist and swung it at the spirit cave. With the strength of a 9th-grade martial king, although he could not cut off the flow of air, he could alert the palace in the depths of the spirit cave. Yuhauran, the spirit cave is definitely the best place to train your body now. Unfortunately, your cultivation and the grade of your body are too low. You can't withstand the impact of the wind and spirit chi. Otherwise, your body would definitely improve. Seeing that Yuhauran's full-strength punch only caused the air to tremble slightly, Thaling could not help but sigh. "Thaling, it's okay." Facing Thaling's sigh, Yuhauran did not mind. "When my cultivation and body both break through to the martial ancestor realm, I will go to a place more outstanding than the spirit cave. Because that place can not only train the body, but also refine the spirit." Oh. Thaling's interest was instantly piqued by the fact that there was a place in the Tianxian continent that could temper one's physical body and soul at the same time. However, he did not pursue the matter. Because of Yuhauran's reminder, Pallas had already rushed back from the depths of the spirit cave. Pallas glanced at the spot where the enchanted beast was standing and asked with a complicated expression, "It's done." "Done." Nodding his head, Yuhauran handed the storage ring containing the transformation grass that he obtained from the ecstasy beast to the scarlet loath. "Brother Red, this is the storage ring that contains the transformation grass. With your strength, you should be able to remove the imprint left behind by bewitching soul and give the transformation grass to Brother Du Yuan." "You Howren, this is a transformation grass that can transform an exotic beast into a human. Are you really willing to give it to Ling Yuan?" Seeing that Yu Howren was willing to give away the transformation grass, Pallas was touched, but he also had a trace of doubt in his heart. After all, the transformation grass was just too important to an exotic beast. If Yu Howren left the demon sealing secret realm with the transformation grass, he could casually find a rank 5 or even rank 4 exotic beast and use the transformation grass as the price to sign a beast pet contract with that exotic beast. Other than himself, no other exotic beast would be able to resist the temptation of the transformation grass. To be honest, I'm definitely reluctant to part with it. However, in order to not put Brother Red in a difficult position and to make Brother Du Yuan happy, I can only take out the transformation grass. Half-truths and half-lies, this was the highest level of lying. "Keep it." Yu Howren expressed his thoughts honestly. Pallas nodded his head in satisfaction, then motioned for Yu Howren to keep the storage ring. "Brother Yu, for the past 100 years, I've explored the secret realm more than once. Other than looking for spiritual herbs that could increase my strength, I've also wanted to find the transformation grass for Brother Du Yuan." Seeing Yu Howren put away the storage ring, Pallas said with a slightly sad expression, "Unfortunately, after more than 10 times of searching, let alone finding the transformation grass, I couldn't even find a trace of it. And Brother Du Yuan, who has been looking forward to finding the transformation grass, could still treat it peacefully at first. But now..." At this point, Pallas raised his head and looked at the group of red rock. His gaze seemed to be able to pierce through the infinite space and directly see the poison source in the poisonous fog. After more than 10 times of anticipation and disappointment, Brother Du Yuan has formed a kind of demonic intent towards the transformation grass, and this demonic intent has seriously affected his state of mind. If he didn't have the transformation grass, Brother Du Yuan would still be able to stay in the secret realm peacefully and use the special environment of the secret realm to continue improving his cultivation. However, if he obtained the transformation grass, he would definitely transform into a human immediately and try to find a way to leave the secret realm. However, Du Yuan is different from the other exotic beasts in the secret realm. Those exotic beasts can safely leave the secret realm, but as long as he takes a step out of the secret realm, what awaits him is death. At this point, Pallas retracted his gaze and looked directly at Yu Howren. "Brother Yu, weren't you complaining about who removed the rules of the secret realm around the spirit vein?" Nodding his head, Yu Howren pretended to look at Pallas with an expectant expression. With a chuckle, Pallas said in an incomparably domineering manner, "In the entire secret realm, other than me, Pallas, who else has such powerful strength? Brother Qi, what you mean is that you actually have the ability to leave the Blue Moon's secret realm long ago, but for Brother Du Yuan, you have been forcefully staying in the secret realm all this while? Not cancel, but remove." From Pallas's words, Yu Howren grasped a key point. Nodding his head, Pallas said truthfully, "That's right. Actually, 100 years ago, I already had the strength to leave the secret realm. However, for Brother Du Yuan, I have been suppressing my strength. Brother Qi, according to what you said just now, Brother Du Yuan is unable to leave the secret realm like the other exotic beasts because of his special physique. Don't tell me that you have to stay in the secret realm forever to accompany him?" While Yu Howren admired Pallas's loyalty, he was also suspicious of his choice. After all, in his previous life, he had just broken through to the martial ancestor realm when he had met Pallas 10 years after the Blue Moon's secret realm had closed. This also meant that the scarlet-loathed beast had not been accompanying the poison source in the Blue Moon's secret realm, as he had said earlier. Shaking his head, Pallas said without hiding anything, "No, due to the uniqueness of Du Yuan's physique, as long as he can break through to rank 5 and condense a spirit body, he can leave this damned demon-sealing secret realm by sacrificing the death of his body in exchange for the existence of his spirit. Brother Qi, with Brother Duyuan's talent and potential, how many years would it take for him to break through to rank 5? Yu Haoran hurriedly asked. The reason why he wanted to know everything about Duyuan was that when he met Pallas in his previous life, he had never mentioned Duyuan. This situation could only mean one thing. Something must have happened to Duyuan in the end. Otherwise, with their friendship, it was impossible for them to separate. Chapter 275. In the depths of the secret realm, in front of the spirit cave. The shortest was 100 years, the longest was 1,000 years. After hearing Pallas's reply, Yu Haoran knew that something must have happened to the poison source. As a result, Pallas could only leave the Blue Moon's secret realm by himself. For some reason, Yu Haoran felt that the poison source's mishap might be directly related to the transformation grass in his hands. After all, after the opening of the Blue Moon's secret realm in his previous life, although there were many casualties among the disciples, it was not as serious as this time. In other words, in his previous life, the enchanted beast did not use the blood sacrifice technique to leave the Blue Moon's secret realm. In that case, the enchanted beast might have used the transformation grass and the special relationship between the poison source and Pallas to let Pallas send him out of the secret realm. After understanding all this, Yu Haoran secretly heaved a sigh of relief. At the same time, he suddenly thought of a plan to deal with the White Wolf. Brother Qi, if you want to make the poison source give up completely, I'm afraid it's not possible to find the transformation grass by just relying on it. At this point, Yu Haoran took out the enchanted beast's storage ring and handed it to Pallas. Brother Qi, help me take out the transformation grass. Although he did not know what Yu Haoran wanted to do, Pallas had already recognized him as a friend from the way he showed mercy to the spirit cave and his willingness to give the transformation grass to the poison source. Therefore, after receiving the storage ring, Pallas did not ask anything. He immediately erased the imprint left by the enchanted beast in the storage ring and took out the transformation grass. Yu Haoran took the storage ring and the shape-shifting grass from the scarlet load. First, he put the storage ring on his finger, then he carefully plucked a leaf from the shape-shifting grass. Brother Yu, the transformation grass is a very fragile spiritual herb. Wouldn't you be destroying the transformation grass by doing that? Pallas quickly reminded when he saw Yu Haoran plucking the leaves off the transformation grass. Brother Qi, don't forget that I am an alchemist who is proficient in the art of alchemy. Do you think I don't know how precious the form transformation grass is? Yu Haoran explained with a smile as he kept the rest of the transformation grass. Thinking of Yu Haoran's exquisite technique when refining the slaughter spirit pill, Pallas nodded in relief. Brother Red, when I was chasing after the enchanted beast, I once passed by a large grassland and encountered a huge white wolf whose strength I couldn't see through. Oh, Pallas said with disdain when he heard Yu Haoran mention the giant white wolf. That's the white wolf, the overlord of the grassland. Just like the enchanted beast, it's also a selfish, cowardly piece of trash. Brother Qi, in order to pass through the grassland, I once made an agreement with the white wolf. Seeing how disdainful Pallas was towards the white wolf, Yu Haoran was overjoyed. He was even more confident in the success of his plan. If I kill the enchanted beast, I must give him the transformation grass. Brother Yu, how did the white wolf know about the transformation grass? Pallas asked with a frown. If the enchanted beast did not take the initiative to give him the transformation grass, the enchanted beast would probably be the only one who knew about the secret of the transformation grass in the entire demon sealing secret realm. Therefore, he really wanted to know how the white wolf, who never left the grassland, knew that the transformation grass was in the hands of the enchanted beast. The white wolf is the guardian of the transformation grass. He witnessed how the enchanted beast took the transformation grass away. Yu Haoran explained. I see. Pallas could not help but nod his head after hearing Yu Haoran's explanation. At the same time, He also understood why he could not find any trace of the transformation grass even after going through the entire secret realm. With the White Wolf's strength and methods, it was not difficult for him to hide from him. Brother Chi, what I'm going to do next may be a little cruel, but the choice is in your hands, Yu Haoran said seriously, ignoring Pallas's sigh. Tell me. From the series of actions just now, Pallas could more or less guess Yu Haoran's plan. However, he still wanted to hear it from Yu Haoran himself. Kill the White Wolf and take the remaining leaves of the transformation grass. Tell Brother Du Yuan that the transformation grass in the secret realm has been consumed by the White Wolf. Let him give up completely so that he can cultivate in peace. After hearing Yu Haoran's plan, Pallas did not angrily reject it, but he did not agree immediately. Instead, he closed his eyes and pondered. Brother Yu, that White Wolf has an extraordinary background. The blood of the ancient mythical beast, the sky-howling wolf, flows in his body. The essence blood in his body will have an extremely great effect on the movement technique that you are cultivating. After leaving behind an inexplicable sentence, Pallas directly shot into the sky and quickly disappeared in front of the spirit cave. What an opportunity! Seeing Pallas leave quickly, Thowling could not help but sigh. I owe him a huge favor this time. Shaking his head, Yu Haoran had a different opinion. Using a scheme to kill the White Wolf, besides the White Wolf's initial threat which made Yu Haoran very unhappy, the other main reason was because of the information that Zhao Zong had provided. In an underground cave in a dense forest not far from the grassland, there was not only the 100-year spiritual milk that had been accumulated for thousands of years, but also a magic weapon that was nurtured by nature. The 100-year spiritual milk, the magic weapon that was nurtured by nature, and the 9 elemental energy fruits that he no longer needed. These were Yu Haoran's last 3 goals before the secret realm closed. Therefore, in order to successfully obtain the 100-year spiritual milk and the magic weapon, he could only use Pallas to get rid of the biggest threat, the White Wolf. Therefore, using Pallas to get rid of the White Wolf could be considered as owing Pallas a favor. Now, he was willing to give away the essence blood of the White Wolf that contained the bloodline of the ancient mythical beast, the sky-howling wolf. He owed Pallas an even bigger favor. The Scarlet Loath left quickly and returned quickly as well. Just as Yu Haoran and Thowling finished sighing, Pallas returned to the spirit cave with a giant white wolf in his hand. Pallas directly threw the huge body of the White Wolf in front of Yu Haoran and said jokingly, Brother Yu, I don't think you need my help to extract its essence blood. No need. Shaking his head, he took out an elixir bottle and a sword of lower-grade king's domain from his storage ear. Then, he aimed at the White Wolf's heart and stabbed it. After extracting 30 drops of the White Wolf's essence blood, Yu Haoran stopped and put away the elixir bottle containing the essence blood. Then, Yu Haoran clenched his hands and thanked him respectfully. Thank you, Brother Chi. You're welcome. It's all for the source of the poison. Pallas waved his hand, indicating that Yu Haoran did not need to be so polite. Then, he directly sucked the White Wolf's body into his hand and planned to return to the Red Rock. Before the Scarlet Loath left, Yu Haoran suddenly exhorted in a loud voice, Brother Chi, tell Brother Du Yuan that I will return to the group of Red Rocks after I finish the most important matters in the secret realm. I will then give him some experience and secret techniques regarding the Tao of poison. I hope he can cultivate in peace. Chapter 276. In the depths of the secret realm, in front of the spirit cave. Yu Haoran Gale Steps is actually the same as cultivation and realm. It is also restricted by the rules of the Blue Moon's secret realm. So, if you want to use the White Wolf's blood essence to break through your movement technique, it's best to wait until you leave the Blue Moon's secret realm. Seeing Yu Haoran take out the pill bottle containing the White Wolf's blood essence, Thowling knew what he was thinking and hurriedly reminded him. The rules of the secret realm also have restrictions on movement technique. Yu Haoran frowned as he didn't understand. but he knew that Thowling wouldn't lie to him, so he could only put away the pill bottle. Seeing Yuhauran put away the pill bottle containing the white wolf's blood essence, Thowling secretly heaved a sigh of relief. Actually, the Blue Moon's secret realm's restrictions were only on cultivation and realm. There were no restrictions on martial skills. The reason why he didn't let Yuhauran consume the white wolf's blood essence now was because the white wolf's blood essence could help him break through his movement technique. It could also be combined with the astral dough arts to increase the effect of the astral dough arts on the body, tempering by several times or even more than 10 times. However, there was no star power in the Blue Moon's secret realm. Not only was it useless to tell Yuhauran now, it would also disturb his thoughts and not make use of his next move. Therefore, Thowling could only use deceiving methods to make him temporarily give up the idea of consuming the white wolf's blood essence. Turning his head to look at the spirit cave behind him, Yuhauran's eyes revealed a trace of regret. Then, he used his peak movement technique and also left the spirit cave. In front of a small forest more than 100 miles away from the edge of the prairie, a skylark with a wingspan of about 4 meters suddenly landed. After the skylark stopped, Zhao Zong, who looked slightly embarrassed, jumped down from the skylark's back. Then, he took out a map drawn on a piece of white paper and compared it with the forest in front of him according to the markings on the map. Zhao Zong couldn't help but let out a sigh of relief when he realized that the forest before him was exactly the same as the one on the map. Although Zhao Zong's position in the Sect Master's faction was very high, and he was deeply trusted by Sect Master Zhao Ji, that was because he was good at using schemes, and he could use schemes to help the Sect Master's faction gain more benefits. However, the strategy that had always been successful was completely useless against the simple-minded, well-developed, yet extremely powerful exotic beasts in the secret realm, as well as the natural traps in the Blue Moon's secret realm. Therefore, after encountering several fatal dangers, Zhao Zong knew that with his own strength, it was impossible for him to cross the distance of tens of thousands of kilometers to reach the underground cave where the magical artifacts were being nurtured. With no other choice, he could only take the risk and return to the spiritual vein. He happened to meet the skylark that was controlled by the enchanted beast back then and was under his command. After realizing that he could still command the skylark, Zhao Zong knew that the battle between Yuhauran and the enchanted beast had not ended. Otherwise, once the enchanted beast died and lost the control of the bewitching technique, he wouldn't be able to command the skylark at all. Fortunately, the skylark was still under his control when he arrived at the destination marked on the map. This made Zhao Zong rejoice, but at the same time, he couldn't help but pray. He prayed that the enchanted beast and the rank 5 upper-grade spiritual vein would be able to turn the tables and defeat Yuhauran in the end. In that case, he wouldn't have to expose what he had done in the secret realm, and could also successfully complete the mission that Sect Master Zhao Ji had given him. "Go to the side and wait for me." Motioning for the skylark to go to the side, Zhao Zong took out a pill the size of a longan that emitted a strong fragrance from his sleeve and put it into his mouth reluctantly. Although Sect Master Zhao Ji had said that although the Blue Moon's secret realm was full of danger when he accepted the mission, the underground cave that nurtured the magic weapon was not too dangerous due to its special position and environment. With Zhao Zong's strength, he could completely guarantee his safety and smoothly take away the magic weapon that was nurtured by the heavens and earth. However, after nearly 7 days of training in the secret realm, Zhao Zong was no longer so convinced by Sect Master Zhao Ji's words. Therefore, he planned to wait until his strength had recovered to its peak before taking the risk to enter the forest. He didn't know what grade the pill that Zhao Zong had just taken was. In just 5 minutes, Zhao Zong, whose aura had returned to its peak, stood up and walked into the forest. Just 10 minutes after Zhao Zong entered the forest, a black dot that was several times faster than a gust of wind rushed into the forest. When the black dot stopped in front of the forest and revealed its body, it was Yuhauran who had just left the spirit cave. According to the information that Zhao Zong had provided, the underground cave that nurtured the magic weapon seems to be in this forest. Yu Haoran muttered to himself as he looked at the forest that wasn't very big in front of him. Then, he instructed Thaling in his Sea of Consciousness. Thaling, see if you can use divine thought? Yes, but it can only extend about 10 meters. There was no need for Yu Haoran's reminder. Thaling, who had slowly developed a habit, had already begun to use divine thought the moment Yu Haoran stopped in front of the forest. Only 10 meters. Hearing that the power of divine thought could only extend 10 meters, Yu Haoran felt a little disappointed. Then, he habitually activated the third drop of Vajra Monkey's essence blood in his body, which was also the last drop. Fortunately, this space had a stronger restriction on divine thought, but it didn't have any restrictions on secret transformations. This gave Yu Haoran the confidence to face any trouble that he might encounter in the future. Just as he was about to enter the forest, Yu Haoran suddenly turned his head and looked at the skylark not far away. A hint of suspicion flashed in his eyes. That was because the skylark in front of him was only at the third rank of the 8th order. Exotic beasts of this level could be seen in the outer regions of the secret realm, but in the depths of the secret realm, at least before he used the purple golden eagle to rush to the prairie, he rarely saw one. Thinking of this, Yu Haoran suddenly had an idea. With the help of the Vajra monkey's essence blood in his meridians, he began to carefully track it. After faintly feeling the essence blood pulsing, Yu Haoran revealed a smile on his face. Then, he decisively stepped into the forest. The area of the forest wasn't large, only a few tens of thousands of square meters. After stepping into the forest, Yu Haoran didn't encounter any exotic beasts obstructing him. In less than 3 minutes, he arrived at the center of the forest, in front of a group of rocks and trees. Without needing to search carefully, using the pulsing essence blood as a guide, Yu Haoran quickly discovered a cave that led underground in the middle of the trees and rocks. Since someone was leading the way, Yu Haoran didn't have to bother with the Thaling, which was only 10 meters wide with his divine thought. He directly bent his body and entered the cave. Although the entrance to the cave wasn't big, and he needed to bend his body to enter, Yu Haoran immediately felt that the space had expanded a lot after entering the cave. Furthermore, the walls on both sides of the cave were irregularly inlaid with sparkling and translucent jade stones that were emitting a faint white light. Reaching out, Yu Haoran picked up a jade stone. After inspecting it, he discovered that this jade stone emitting a white light was only the most common luminous stone and wasn't considered very precious. However, considering that the luminous stone came from the deepest underground cave in the Blue Moon secret realm, it was considered a rather commemorative jade stone. Therefore, he didn't throw it away but kept it in his storage ear. Chapter 277. In the depths of the secret realm, inside the cave. The entrance to the underground cave wasn't very long. It took him less than 20 minutes to walk. As the space suddenly became more spacious and bright, Yu Haoran found himself in an endless underground cave. Hiding behind an inverted stone pillar in a flash, Yu Haoran carefully observed the environment in front of him with the help of the stone pillar's edge. After careful observation, Yu Haoran found that there were a total of 36 stone pillars of the same shape, size, and height. As for the depths of the cave, he couldn't see clearly due to the light. However, Yu Haoran had a feeling that there should be more stone pillars of the same type in the depths of the cave. He just didn't know how many stone pillars there were. In front of the 25th stone pillar, Zhao Zong, who had entered the underground cave in advance, was looking at the map in his hand with the help of the light from the luminous stone. It's exactly the same. The markings on the map are exactly the same as the environment of the underground cave. Could it be that the senior martial brothers and martial uncles of the sect masters faction had entered the underground cave before? Otherwise, how would they know the environment here? Zhao Zong muttered to himself as he looked at the map and the environment in reality. Perhaps he had considered that he was the only one in the entire underground cave, so Zhao Zong didn't lower his voice when he muttered to himself. Yu Haoran, who was hiding behind the first stone pillar, heard everything clearly. When he heard that the map that the sect master had given to Zhao Zong had the exact same environment as the underground cave, Yu Haoran also felt extremely shocked and puzzled. If it was said that the disciples of the sect master's faction had entered the underground cave and safely left the secret realm after the Blue Moon's secret realm opened a few times before, he wouldn't believe it even if he was beaten to death. Not to mention the tens of thousands of miles needed to travel from the spirit vein to this forest, it would take at least 3 to 4 days of continuous travel just by relying on movement technique. Thinking of the disciples who entered the secret realm for training, who would waste 3 to 4 days of time to travel for the sake of elixirs and opportunities that could increase their cultivation and strength. Furthermore, from the spirit vein to the underground cave, they would have to pass through at least 13 strange beasts with the strength of a martial king, similar to the giant white wolf and the purple golden condor. Among the previous disciples, Yu Haoran was not boasting or being arrogant. There was probably not a single disciple who could surpass him in terms of true strength. Even for him, it was impossible for him to travel tens of thousands of kilometers by himself, passing through the territories of 13 terrifying exotic beasts and arriving at this underground cave, let alone drawing a detailed map of the underground cave. For Zhao Ji to possess the map of the underground cave, it could only mean one thing. He definitely had some records regarding the Blue Moon's secret realm. Moreover, it was very likely that these records described the various secrets of the Demon Sealing's secret realm in detail. Thinking of this, the thought of having a conflict with Zhao Ji sooner or later because of Zhao Xinyu became even stronger. According to the markings on the map, the 100-year spirit milk is in the 72nd stone pillar, and the magical item nurtured by heaven and earth is in the 108th stone pillar. After carefully looking at the map in his hand again, Zhao Zong put away the map and looked at the stone pillar in front of him, muttering to himself. Afterwards, he identified the direction and continued to go deeper into the cave. After waiting for Zhao Zong to leave his sight, Yu Haoran walked out from behind the stone pillar and quickened his pace to follow. Something's not right. After passing by the 20th inverted stone pillar, and seeing that there were still dozens of identical stone pillars in front of him, but the distance between them was somewhat different, Thowling in his sea of consciousness suddenly exclaimed, "I also discovered that something's not right." Nodding his head, Yu Haoran agreed with Thowling's conjecture just now. Excluding the 36 stone pillars that he saw at the beginning, and then combining the dozens of stone pillars that had just appeared in his line of sight, as well as the 108 stone pillars in the underground cave that Zhao Zong had just muttered to himself, the name of a formation that belonged to the Forbidden Path surfaced in Yu Haoran's mind. Seal the heavens and lock the earth. Slaughter the heavens and destroy the earth. Yu Haoran and Thowling said the name of a formation at the same time. Just as I thought. After hearing Thowling say the name of the sealing heaven and locking earth formation, Yu Haoran nodded his head solemnly. In fact, the sealing heaven and locking earth formation and the slaughtering heaven and destroying earth formation were the same kind of formation, just different names in different times. But whether it was the sealing heaven and locking earth formation or the slaughtering heaven and destroying earth formation, whether it was in ancient times or now, they belonged to the forbidden formation. They were evil formations that were absolutely not allowed to be set up. Yu Haoran, it seems that what Zhao Zong said back then was true. There is indeed a congenital magic weapon that was born in the underground cave. Seeing that Yu Haoran had also seen the secret of the underground cave, Thowling said in a complicated tone. However, this magic weapon was not born from heaven and earth. Instead, it used the sealing heaven and locking earth formation to intercept the fate of all living beings and gather the origin of a realm to nurture a magic weapon that contains the power of precepts. Its grade could possibly reach the peak of the Emperor level, or even the level of a divine weapon. Nodding his head, Yuharan could not help but recall that when he was exploring a relic in his previous life, he had seen the power of the slaughtering heaven and destroying earth formation, as well as the various strange effects that would occur naturally after the formation was set up. Thaling, see if the slaughtering heaven and destroying earth formation has any effect on the power of divine telekinesis. Shaking his head, Yuharan chased the terrifying memory of the slaughtering heaven and destroying earth formation out of his mind and reminded Thaling. There is no trace of the secret realm's precepts in the underground cave. My divine telekinesis can be used freely. After hearing Yuharan's reminder, Thaling extended his divine telekinesis while using it to sense the precepts of the secret realm's precepts in the cave. The result was not out of Thaling's expectations. After all, after guessing that the sealing heaven and locking earth formation was set up in the underground cave, he knew that the precepts of the demon sealing secret realm were unable to affect the environment inside the formation. If that's the case, then help me determine the location of the 100-year spiritual milk. Is it as Zhao Zong said, in the 72nd stone pillar? After confirming that Thaling could use his divine telekinesis freely, Yuharan secretly heaved a sigh of relief. At the same time, he had also decided to give up on the magic weapon that the slaughtering heaven and destroying earth formation nurtured in the cave and only take the 100-year spiritual milk. After all, the slaughtering heaven and destroying earth formation was too terrifying. Although he had not seen or experienced the slaughtering heaven and destroying earth formation in his previous life, there were detailed records of the slaughtering heaven and destroying earth formation, whether it was in the relics or in the sutra collection pavilions of the major sections. Therefore, he who insisted on acting according to his ability could only temporarily give up on the magic weapon. That's right, the 100-year spiritual milk is indeed in the 72nd stone pillar, and Zhao Zong has already begun to collect it. Thaling's divine telekinesis swept past and quickly discovered the situation in front of him. But then, his tone changed and he could not help but say to Yuharan, "Yuharan, hurry up and leave this place." Without any hesitation, Yuharan turned around and rushed to the entrance of the cave as he asked quickly, "Thaling, what happened?" The magic weapon nurtured by the sealing heaven and locking earth formation has already developed a bloodthirsty and violent spiritual intelligence. Moreover, it is now in a state of awakening. After quickly telling Yuharan what he had just discovered, Thaling directly used his divine telekinesis to help Yuharan increase his speed. Chapter 278. In the depths of the secret territory, in the underground cave. Oh no, the heaven-locking taboo formation has begun to operate on its own. Seeing that Yuharan was still unable to get close to the entrance of the cave even after increasing his speed by tens of times, Thaling, who had some knowledge of formations, said with a dejected expression. Motioning for Thaling to withdraw the power of divine sense that helped increase his speed, Yuharan directly turned around and rushed into the depths of the underground cave. "Yuharan, what are you trying to do?" Thaling was very puzzled by the fact that he did not hurry to find a way to escape from the underground cave and instead took the risk to enter the depths of the heaven-locking taboo formation. "Thaling, in my previous life, I once saw a record of the heaven-locking taboo formation in a relic from an unknown era. Although it did not record how to break this formation, it did record how to stop the formation from operating," Yuharan quickly explained as he rushed into the depths of the underground cave. Hearing that Yuharan actually had a way to stop the heaven-locking taboo formation, Thaling asked in surprise, "How do you stop it?" "Destroy the artifact spirit of the formation eye," Yuharan replied, full of murderous intent. "Yuharan, why are you here?" Zhao Zong, who was ecstatically collecting the 100-year spirit milk, saw Yuharan quickly rushing over and asked nervously while holding the 3 elixir bottles filled with 100-year spirit milk in his hands. Unfortunately, Yuharan did not even look at him and directly rushed past him to the deepest part of the cave, which was also the location of the formation where the artifact was. Seeing that Yu Haoran directly rushed to the deepest part of the cave, Zhao Zong suddenly thought of the artifact in the 108 stone pillars and his expression changed. Yu Haoran, that artifact belongs to the sect leader. At this moment, he seemed to have forgotten the difference in strength between himself and Yu Haoran. He didn't continue to collect the 100-year spiritual milk from the 72nd stone pillar and hurriedly chased after Yu Haoran. Tower Spirit, if we can leave the heaven-sealing forbidden formation today, you must help me collect a portion of peak 5th order monkeys or ape-type exotic beasts' blood essence. Looking at the 108th stone pillar from afar, Yu Haoran suggested to Thaling while activating the last drop of Vajra monkey's blood essence in his body. Yu Haoran, if you can kill the artifact spirit and leave the forbidden formation, let alone the blood essence of a peak rank 5 exotic beast, I'll even find a way to get you 100 drops of blood essence of a peak rank 4 exotic beast. While replying to Yu Haoran's suggestion, Thaling was also thinking about how to protect Yu Haoran's life if he failed to kill the artifact spirit. Although his main body, the victor, wasn't afraid of the heaven-sealing and earth-locking formation, nor was it afraid of the artifact's attacks, the heaven-sealing and earth-locking formation could completely shut off the laws of the demon-sealing secret realm. In other words, even if Yu Haoran hid inside the victor, he wouldn't be sent out of the secret realm when it closed. Although the victor was rich in spiritual qi, it wasn't suitable for Yu Haoran's survival and growth. Hiding inside the victor wasn't a viable solution. After thinking about it, it seemed like the only way was to kill the artifact's spirit. Ignoring the backlash from the transformation secret technique, Yu Haoran directly activated the Vajra monkey's blood essence in his acupoints and took out the Do As I Wish rod. He didn't need to restrict the blood essence and could freely activate it, so the transformation process was very fast. When he passed by the 99th inverted stone pillar, he had already transformed into a giant monkey with a height of 69 meters and an aura at the peak of the 9th stage of the 5th stage. Yu Haoran did not roar angrily, nor did he beat his chest out of habit. Instead, he directly swung the What I Wish staff in his hand and smashed it viciously at the ancient bronze bell in the 108th stone pillar. Perhaps sensing the arrival of danger, the bronze bell's artifact spirit, which was slowly awakening, accelerated its awakening while activating the bronze bell's own defenses. A faint green light rose from the inside of the bronze bell and completely enveloped the entire bronze bell. Boom! Accompanied by a deafening roar, Yu Haoran, who had transformed into a giant monkey, was directly forced back 3 steps by the powerful backlash. The green light that enveloped the bronze bell was also directly dispersed by the Do As I Wish rod, revealing the simple bronze bell. However, although the roar was very powerful and the sound waves formed a force that directly blew Zhao Zong, who had just rushed away, the 107 stone pillars around him didn't move at all. Shaking his slightly numb wrist, Yu Haoran's monkey face showed a trace of joy. Because through the attack just now, he found that the bronze bell was not, as the Thaling had guessed, a magic artifact at the peak of the Emperor level that was about to become a divine artifact. The bronze bell was only an early-stage Emperor-level magic artifact, but for some reason, its grade had fallen to the venerable level. And for a magic artifact of this level, with the strength of a peak 9th-stage martial emperor and the strength of the Do As I Wish rod, it was not impossible to break through its defenses. Behind Yu Haoran, Zhao Zong, who had been directly blown dozens of meters away by the aftermath of the impact and then fell to the ground in a free manner, finally came to his senses. After seeing that he had transformed into a 59-meter giant monkey, Zhao Zong's face became very pale. At this moment, he finally remembered who Yu Haoran was, and also remembered that Yu Haoran had the means to transform. Therefore, enduring the pain from his body, Zhao Zong turned to leave, but was confused by Yu Haoran's next move. Because Yu Haoran, who had transformed into a giant monkey, waved the golden rod in his hand and directly smashed it at the ancient bronze bell in the 108th stone pillar. Wasn't that bronze bell a magic artifact born by the heavens and earth? Why didn't Howren use the strength of his transformation to directly take the bronze bell, instead of attacking it with all his might? However, this confusion did not bother Zhao Zong for long. Because when the bronze bell emitted a green light for the third time, an incomparably evil aura slowly rose from the inside of the bronze bell. Under the influence of that evil aura, Zhao Zong felt as if he had fallen into an endless hell, surrounded by ferocious monsters. Howren, although the artifact spirit of the bronze bell has been completely awakened, he has not fully grasped and familiarized himself with the power of the bronze bell. Take this opportunity to directly attack the weak point of the bronze bell's defense. Just as Howren attacked for the first time, Thowling ignored the danger and directly used his divine thought to directly penetrate into the bronze bell. First, he wanted to find the weak point of the bronze bell's defense, and second, he wanted to check the situation of the bronze bell's artifact spirit. After checking with his divine thought, Thowling also realized that he had misjudged at the beginning. Not only did he not care about this, but he was also very happy. Because of this misjudgment, it meant that Howren had a greater chance of survival. Therefore, under the investigation of his huge divine thought, he finally found a weak point of defense at the top of the bronze bell. Chapter 279. In the depths of the secret territory, in the underground cave. Skyward strike. After activating the power of what I want multiple times, it was as if the battle instinct of what I want had been activated. A trace of battle intent that belonged to the Monkey Emperor of the near-ancient era suddenly merged into Howren's consciousness from the do-as-I-wish cudgel, causing him to subconsciously use a cudgel technique that only Emperor Realm experts could use. Although he was limited by his cultivation and could not use the power of law, the power of Skyward Strike was close to that of a martial honorable. As for the staff technique that was close to the level of a martial highness, it caused the 108 stone pillars that were originally motionless to shake violently. Boom! As the staff smashed heavily on the knob at the top of the copper bell, a deafening roar that could no longer be described as deafening could be heard. Not only did it cause cracks to appear on dozens of stone pillars, but it also caused the roar to spread out from the underground cave and resound throughout the entire secret realm. Palace, who was persuading Du Yuan to accept reality, was stunned when he heard the deafening sound. Then, his expression changed. Then, he quickly spoke to Du Yuan. Du Yuan, since the transformation grass has already been consumed by the white wolf, it's best if you can accept this reality. Even if you can't, you can only accept it passively. I'm afraid Brother Yu is in big trouble. I have to go and help him now. Brother Qi, did Brother Yu enter that place? Du Yuan, who was originally unhappy because of Palace's overbearing order, heard that Howren was in danger and saw Palace's grave expression. He immediately thought of the underground cave that was one of the 3 forbidden areas of the demon sealing secret territory. According to the location where I separated from Brother Yu, he should be in the underground cave. After confirming the speculation of the source of the poison, the red loath directly soared into the sky. In just over 10 minutes, it appeared in the sky above the underground cave. Looking at the shattered trees above the cave, Palace could not help but feel surprised. Although Howren's talent and potential were very outstanding, and his strength after transformation was also very good, he still couldn't enter Palace's eyes. However, from the rumbling from the cave and the destruction of the surrounding forest through the seal of the formation, it meant that the strength Howren had erupted with had far surpassed his own. While Palace was shocked, he also began to take Howren seriously, treating him as a friend on the same level as himself. Adjusting the shock in his heart, Palace did not immediately enter the underground cave. Instead, he shouted into the void. The rules of the mystic realm, come out. As Palace shouted, an eye slowly appeared in the empty void. It was a cold and emotionless eye. According to the rules of the secret realm, I have a brother who is currently in the forbidden formation that seals the sky and locks the earth. He's fighting with the artifact spirit at the center of the formation. According to the commotion caused by the battle just now, the two of them should be equally matched. Next, I'll go and help. With our strength, we'll definitely be able to suppress the artifact spirit. According to the rules of the mystic realm, I hope that while we're suppressing the artifact spirit, you can use the power of the rules to further suppress the operation of the formation so that the underground cave can be completely integrated with the mystic realm. After hearing Pallas's request, a hint of hesitation flashed across the originally emotionless eye. It was unwilling to agree to Pallas's request. The rules of the mystic realm. The reason why I'm telling you all this is because after the underground cave is integrated into the mystic realm, your power of the rules will be further perfected. Seeing the hesitation in the eyes of the rules of the mystic realm, Pallas did not seem surprised at all. He continued speaking. In the future, when the other two forbidden places are integrated into the mystic realm, and when I leave the demon-sealing mystic realm, the mystic realm's power of the rules will be completely perfected. You can also use the perfected power of the rules to give birth to your own consciousness. According to the rules of the mystic realm, my request just now was not a negotiation, but an order. Otherwise, don't blame me for stripping away a part of your power of the rules when I leave the mystic realm. You won't be able to perfect your power of the rules for the rest of your life. At the end of his sentence, Pallas could not help but threaten it. Hearing Pallas' threats, the eyes formed by the rules of the mystic realm shot out a beam of white light that pierced through the underground cave to express its attitude. What a waste of my breath. Seeing the white light shot out by the rules of the mystic realm, Pallas grumbled in dissatisfaction. Then, he raised his left fist and punched a hole in the tunnel that led to the heaven and earth lock spell. Without any hesitation, he charged into the tunnel. Inside the underground cave, the staff facing the sky, whose power was comparable to a strike from a martial honorable expert, caused a violent explosion. While shattering the 107 stone pillars, it also directly smashed Zhao Zhuangjian, who had a shocked expression, into minced meat. Even the 3 bottles of 100-year spiritual milk he had just collected were also shattered into wisps of mist. After the boom disappeared, Yuhaoran looked down at the copper bell from above. He noticed that there was a hair-like crack at the top of the copper bell where the buckle was. He could not help but feel delighted. Then, he prepared to use the sky staff strike again, intending to continue attacking the weak point of the copper bell. However, at this moment, an old and weak voice came from the copper bell. "Human ancient martial art practitioner, why did you disturb my rest?" Hearing the old and weak voice, Yuhaoran could not help but feel a little surprised. He did not understand why the venerable realm copper bell's weapon spirit's voice was so old. However, many years of battle habits made Yuhaoran decisively stop guessing and use the sky staff strike for the second time. "Human ancient martial art practitioner, stop immediately." Seeing that Yuhaoran did not care about his question, the copper bell's weapon spirit scolded him in a flustered and exasperated manner. Unfortunately, in this dangerous situation, Yuhaoran did not care about what the other party was saying. Like Mount Tai, the sky staff strike landed heavily on the buckle's weak point. The second boom caused by the collision between the sky staff strike and the copper bell shattered more than 10 stone pillars. Yuhaoran, look at the shattered stone pillars. Although Yuhaoran's attention had been on the copper bell, and he did not have the energy to pay attention to the situation of the surrounding stone pillars, the Thaling, who did not need to do anything, had been paying attention to the situation of the surrounding formation. The moment a flaw appeared in the formation, Yuhaoran could escape from the formation that sealed the sky and locked the earth. It was also because he had been paying attention to the formation that he happened to see the situation of the shattered stone pillars. After hearing the Thaling's reminder, Yuhaoran glanced at the stone pillars from the corner of his eye. His attention immediately shifted from the copper bell to the stone pillars. Chapter 280. In the depths of the secret realm, in the underground cave, below the head of each strange beast, there was a bowl-sized water trough. The water trough was filled with dozens or hundreds of drops of milky white liquid. Although they were sealed in the stone pillars and could not sense the aura of these strange beasts, Yuhauran was very clear from the size of these strange beasts and their extraordinary races. The strange beasts sealed in the stone pillars were probably the same as the giant white wolf and the purple-gold condor. They were terrifying beasts at the overlord level of the secret realm. Yuhauran, I'm afraid you and I have both guessed wrong. The formation in the underground cave is neither sealing the sky nor destroying the earth. Instead, it is more like a blood sacrifice formation that the enchanted beast is preparing to perform. After seeing the strange beasts sealed in the stone pillars and the water trough under their heads, Thaling's tone suddenly relaxed. If it was a forbidden formation that sealed the sky and locked the earth, even if Yuhauran had the advantage now, Thaling would not dare to relax in the slightest. This was because the true power of the forbidden array formation that sealed the sky and locked down the earth did not lie in the magical artifact, the copper bell, but in the absolute vacuum that could absolutely isolate spiritual energy and air, making living creatures starve to death, die of thirst and suffocation. As for the blood sacrifice formation, whether it was Thaling or Yuhauran, they had not only seen it in their previous lives, but had also come into contact with it. They knew how to break the blood sacrifice formation. Thaling, it seems like there is hope for obtaining the bronze bell. Yuhauran, who also let out a sigh of relief, shifted his gaze from the water trough under the strange beast's head to the bronze bell in the 108th pillar. His eyes revealed a hint of a fire that was determined to obtain it. Human martial artist, what is the meaning of this? Why do you keep attacking me? Seeing that Yuhauran had finally stopped attacking, the artifact spirit, who had used the 100-year spiritual milk in the water trough of the 107 pillars, finally managed to stabilize the bronze bell with great difficulty and asked in a calm tone. It's nothing. Waving his hand, Yuhauran said without a trace of apology. I originally thought that the formation of this underground cave was a forbidden formation that sealed the heavens and turned the earth into dust. In order to survive, I could only attack the formation eye of the formation. I'm truly sorry for accidentally injuring you. I see. Hearing Yuhauran's unapologetic apology, the copper bell artifact's spirit felt both angry and helpless. Under normal circumstances, the arrangement of the blood sacrifice array formation would not be like this. However, after the suggestions and improvements of a certain exotic beast that was proficient in formations, and combined with the forbidden formation that sealed the sky and locked down the earth, the power of the blood sacrifice formation was increased. Although he had combined the advantages of the heaven-sealing earth-locking spell formation and was slowly recovering from his injuries, it was easy for him to give the wrong impression to any living beings who accidentally trespassed into the spell formation. 100 years ago, there was once a powerful exotic beast that accidentally trespassed into the blood sacrifice formation. It mistakenly thought that the blood sacrifice formation was a forbidden formation that sealed the heavens and locked down the earth. Without saying a word, it directly attacked the copper bell. In the end, it had no choice but to tear a corner of the formation, allowing the exotic beast to leave unscathed. However, the injuries that it had painstakingly recovered from worsened once again. And this time, this human expert that could transform into an exotic beast also mistakenly thought that the blood sacrifice formation was a forbidden formation that sealed the heavens and locked down the earth, and directly chose to attack. Not only did the injuries that it had spent 100 years to recover from worsen, but it also caused a fatal crack to appear on its copper bell, causing it to suffer even more losses. As the saying went, there was no third time. The copper bell artifact spirit decided that after Yuhauran left, it must find a way to change the formation of the entire underground cave to avoid a third unexpected disaster. After finishing its inner sigh, the artifact spirit hiding in the copper bell inadvertently saw a trace of fanaticism flash in Yuhauran's eyes and was shocked. Then, as it planned to open a corner of the blood sacrifice formation, it indicated that Yuhauran could leave now. Since it's a misunderstanding, human expert, I'll help you open a corner of the formation. Do you choose to leave now? Okay. Putting away the as I wish staff, Yuhauran intended to leave the blood sacrifice formation. Of course, leaving did not mean giving up. Through Thaling's analysis of the strengths and weaknesses of the two formations, he discovered that the blood sacrifice formation that combined the two formations had a fatal flaw. That was, the defense and attack of the inner part of the formation were the strongest. It was impossible to break the formation with just the secret transformation technique, but the defense and attack of the outer part of the formation were the weakest. In order to obtain the Copper Bell artifact, it was necessary to consume the source of power of the Copper Bell artifact, which was the spiritual milk formed by the exotic beast's vitality in the 107 stone pillars. Therefore, Thaling suggested that Yuhauran temporarily leave the blood sacrifice formation. Firstly, it was to ensure his own safety. Secondly, it would give him enough time to attack the formation. Just as Yuhauran put away the as I wish staff and was about to leave through the opening opened by the Copper Bell artifact spirit, Pallas's angry roar came from behind him. Copper Bell artifact spirit, you deserve to die. Brother Chi, why are you here? Yuhauran asked in surprise when he saw Pallas rushing over. It was impossible that Pallas did not know about the existence of the heaven sealing and earth locking formation and the Copper Bell artifact in the underground cave. After all, in order to find the transformation grass, Pallas had traversed the entire Blue Moon's secret realm. It was impossible for him to miss the underground cave. Based on the Scarlet Loth's experience, Yuhauran guessed that it was likely to have mistaken the underground cave's formation as the heaven-sealing earth-locking formation, just like himself. Although he did not know how Pallas had left the underground cave in the end, considering the reputation of the heaven-sealing and earth-locking formation, Pallas should not have set foot here. Taking a deep breath, Pallas suppressed the anger that welled up in his heart when he saw the strange beast sealed in the stone pillar and explained with difficulty. The commotion caused by Brother Yu's fight with the Copper Bell artifact spirit has spread throughout the secret realm. I have been here once before and I guessed that Brother Yu must have encountered some trouble, so I came to help. Just by hearing the commotion, Pallas suspected that he had encountered some trouble and came to help despite the dangers of the heaven-sealing and earth-locking formation. Yuhauran was very touched by Pallas's righteous actions. Brother Yu, don't thank me, Pallas said with a murderous look as he reached out to stop Yuhauran from thanking him. If you want to thank me, if you still think that I'm a friend of the Scarlet Loth Beast, then help me destroy the artifact spirit of the Copper Bell and avenge my 100 brothers in the demon-sealing secret realm. Brother Chi, you said that the strange beasts sealed in the stone pillar were once your brothers. Yuhauran could not help but gasp and ask in disbelief after hearing the reason for Pallas's murderous look. 107 terrifying strange beasts, whose strength was comparable to the white wolf and the purple golden condor. Pallas had too many friends. Chapter 281. Sorry, as I was secretly writing during work hours, I didn't have much time. As a result, in the first few chapters, the word wrong in the cave is wrong. It's more troublesome to edit the VIP chapters. Fortunately, it won't affect your reading, so I'll remind you here. Deep in the secret realm, in the underground cave. That's right, Pallas said through gritted teeth, nodding his head as he stared at the bronze bell. These 107 brothers are close friends that I've gotten to know over the past 100 years. Through battles I've formed a deep friendship with them. However, for some unknown reason, whenever a brother's strength breaks through to Martial King, he will mysteriously disappear. With my strength, although I can explore the entire secret realm, and even command the rules of the secret realm to listen to my orders, there are 3 forbidden areas in the secret realm that I don't dare to set foot in. Originally, I thought that my brothers might have fallen into the Death Swamp. Because there's a grade 5 blood lotus in the Death Swamp that's highly tempting to all the strange beasts in the secret realm, my attention has been on that area all these years. But what I didn't expect was that the least likely place to harm my brothers was the Heaven and Earth Lockdown Formations Formation I, the weapon spirit. Hearing Pallas mention the 3 forbidden areas in the secret realm, Yuhauran's interest was immediately piqued. Of course, interest was just interest. He wasn't the kind of person who would disregard everything for treasures. Before he had absolute strength, he would never take the risk. Brother Chi, the formation in the underground cave isn't the forbidden formation you thought it was. It's a blood sacrifice formation that uses the vitality of living creatures to power the formation I. Seeing that Pallas still believed that the formation in front of him was the forbidden Heaven and Earth Lockdown Formation, even though he was incomparably furious, he quickly reminded him. Mi-hun, you really deserve to die. When the Scarlet Loath heard that the formation in front of it was not the heaven-sealing earth-locking formation that it had always thought of, but instead, it was a blood sacrifice that extracted the flesh, blood, and vitality of living beings with the help of the formation's eye. While it breathed a sigh of relief, it could not help but curse the ecstasy beast. Hearing Pallas mention the enchanted beast, Yuhauran suddenly remembered that he had used the blood sacrifice formation to leave the secret realm. He immediately understood why Pallas was so angry. At the same time, he suddenly thought of the disciples of the 4 sects that were nailed to the tree trunk and felt a little embarrassed. He felt that he had been too focused on his own opportunity and had forgotten about the disciples who were suffering. Brother you just need to watch the battle and see how I destroy the Bronze Bell's weapon spirit. After knowing that the formation's formation I, Pallas a blood sacrifice formation I, Pallas a blood sacrifice formation I, he wasn't afraid. Pallas, Yuhauran's suggestion, Yuhauran enthusiastic suggestion, success suggestion, SSSTS. Teat use me and you. Telelt. Aside from the fact that the 3rd drop of the Vajra monkey's blood essence was almost exhausted, the reason why he wanted to join forces was because if he chose to stand by and watch, then after he killed the artifact spirit of the Copper Bell, he wouldn't have the nerve to ask for the Copper Bell. Sure. Fortunately, Pallas didn't know Yuhauran's. Furthermore, he didn't have any interest in the Bronze Bell. Hence, when Yuhauran suggested that they work together, he immediately nodded in agreement. Then, ignoring the weapon spirit's subjections and pleas, they each used their most powerful technique. Chaos Spirit Destruction. This was Pallas's most powerful fist technique. Its power was at the peak of the martial sage realm. Skyward Strike. This was a combination of the Monkey Emperor's battle consciousness from the near-ancient era and a heart like me. Brother Pallas, attack the Bronze Bell's buckle. That's the Bronze Bell's weak point, Yuhauran hurriedly reminded him when he saw that Pallas was only attacking the Bronze Bell's main body. Although the Bronze Bell in the stone pillar was unable to unleash its full power due to its own injuries, the Bronze Bell was once a peak martial sage realm weapon. Its own defensive power was definitely not something a martial sage realm weapon could break through. After hearing Yuhauran's reminder, Pallas immediately changed the direction of his attack. After Yuhauran's skyward strike ended, he used his Chaos Spirit Destruction fist technique on the buckle. After being attacked twice in a row, the crack on the Bronze Bell's buckle grew wider and the weapon spirit's aura within the Bronze Bell grew weaker. Damned humans and Pallas, just you wait. When my soul-destroying bell's main body recovers to its peak, I'll extract your souls and make you wish you were dead. Regardless of whether it was Yuhauran who had transformed into the Vajra monkey or Pallas who had inherited 3 divine beast bloodlines, the Bronze Bell's weapon spirit that had been severely injured could not deal with them. Although leaving the demon sealing secret realm would be life-threatening, if they did not leave the demon sealing secret realm, they would definitely die. Therefore, the Bronze Bell's weapon spirit directly used all the 100-year spiritual milk in the 107 stone pillars to tear open the secret realm's void and quickly escape from the demon sealing secret realm. Uhauran and Pallas did not immediately chase after them. Pallas did not immediately chase after them because he could not leave the demon sealing secret realm yet. He was not strong enough to leave the demon sealing secret realm, but he was also not strong enough to leave the secret realm. Uhauran did not immediately chase after them because of what the Bronze Bell's weapon spirit had said before leaving the secret realm. The soul-destroying bell. The Bronze Bell weapon that had just escaped from the Blue Moon's secret realm turned out to be the soul-destroying bell that caused a war between the Xiandao school, one of the top 7 sects, and the aristocratic family of inheritance. In his previous life, when Uhauran's cultivation had broken through to the martial royal realm, he had a certain amount of strength to avoid and fight back against those experts who were chasing after him. He had once infiltrated the Xiandao school, one of the top 7 sects, and became an ordinary Xiandao school's outer sect deacon. When he became the Xiandao school's outer sect deacon, he had once participated in a sect mission to track down a secret weapon. The weapon that he had been tracking was the soul-destroying bell that was said to be able to destroy the divine soul of all living things. It was also because of the soul-destroying bell that Xiandao school and the Sima family, one of the 9 aristocratic families of inheritance, had a violent conflict, which eventually led to a bloody war between the Xiandao school and the Sima family. Due to the escalation of the war, the strength of the experts who participated in the war became stronger and stronger. In the end, it attracted the experts of the martial venerable realm. A battle of this level was no longer something that a first-grade martial royal realm could participate in. Therefore, Uhauran took advantage of an opportunity when he was out on a sneak attack mission to quietly leave the Xiandao school and join the weapon refining sect. This was the fundamental reason why he had lived in the weapon refining sect for a period of time. In addition to continuing to evade the pursuit of his enemies, he also wanted to find out the true origin of the soul-destroying bell. Unfortunately, information about the soul-destroying bell was an absolute secret in the weapon refining sect. With his identity when he had infiltrated the weapon refining sect, he was not qualified to have access to the core secret. In the end, he was unable to obtain information about the soul-destroying bell. Thaling, how much do you know about the soul-destroying bell? Uhauran took a deep breath and glanced at Pallas, whose face was full of unwillingness as he stared at the restored void. He could only ask Thaling for help. Fortunately, the soul-destroying bell escaped by itself. Otherwise, you and Pallas would be in danger. Chapter 282. In the depths of the secret land, in the underground cave. The soul-destroying bell, one of the divine weapons that were born from the chaos at the beginning of the ancient era. Uhauran could not help but gasp when he heard Thaling's introduction of the soul-destroying bell. This was because he had never imagined that the seemingly ordinary bronze bell was actually a divine artifact that had been born from the chaos when the world was first created. Uhauran had another question in his mind after his initial shock. Since the soul-destroying bell was a divine weapon born from the chaos at the beginning of the ancient era, why had it fallen to the level of a venerable realm weapon? Why had its weapon spirit become afraid of death, and had lost the demeanor of an ancient era expert? However, Uhauran did not question Thaling. He knew that Thaling would tell him the answer to his question. In the middle of the ancient era, for some reason, there was a fierce battle between the ancient era divine beasts. One of them was good at controlling the minds of living beings. He held the soul-extinguishing bell in his hand and hid in the shadows. I don't know what race or power he belonged to. He suddenly appeared on the battlefield and slaughtered almost 10,000 Exalt and Emperor realm divine beasts in a very short time. Yu Haoran, even in the ancient era, when the environment was suitable for cultivation, it was not easy to become a martial venerable or Emperor Wu. Nearly 10,000 venerable realm and Emperor realm divine beasts were killed. It must have attracted the attention of the godly realm divine beasts. Therefore, the 9 godly realm divine beasts joined forces. In the end, they were killed by the expert with the soul-destroying bell. In desperation, the 9 most powerful divine beast kings joined forces and finally destroyed the soul-destroying bell and injured the expert who had been hiding in the shadows. Thaling, since the soul-destroying bell's body was destroyed, the weapon spirit's soul must have been destroyed as well. Yu Haoran interrupted Thaling's narration of the destruction of the soul-destroying bell. He had some knowledge of weapon refining. Under normal circumstances, this is the case, but the soul-destroying bell is different. Because it targets the souls of living beings, the difference in strength between the soul-extinguishing bell's artifact spirit and its main body is not that great. Thus, although the soul-extinguishing bell's main body was destroyed, the soul-extinguishing bell survived. Regardless, the joint attack of the 9 great divine beast kings was enough to destroy the entire Tian Xian land. Even if the spirit of the soul-extinguishing bell survived, it would suffer unimaginable injuries. Thaling. Although I don't know how many years have passed since the ancient times, the Middle Ages, and the Late Ages, it must have been a long time. It's been such a long time, but the soul-extinguishing bell's artifact spirit hasn't rebuilt its body or recovered from its injuries. Yu Haoran threw out puzzled questions one after another. You're right. With the environment of the ancient era, middle era, and recent era, the soul-extinguishing bell, which is proficient in soul arts, should have recovered long ago. However, as a divine artifact born from the chaos at the beginning of the world, the soul-extinguishing bell is the object that countless creatures crazily fight for. As long as a trace of it is leaked, it will definitely cause countless experts to fight for it. You said that the soul-extinguishing bell's artifact spirit, which has independent consciousness and strength not weaker than its main body, would be willing to be controlled again. Therefore, I suspect that the soul-extinguishing bell's artifact spirit, which has been severely injured since the ancient era, has been hiding in the dark and has not recovered from its injuries. Although Thaling's speculation and explanation sounded reasonable, Yu Haoran felt that it was not so simple. Because according to the soul-extinguishing bell's proficiency in soul arts and the blood sacrifice array just now, it was absolutely impossible for it to hide in the dark all the time. There must be some clues left by it in some places. It seemed that when he left the sect in the future and went out to train, in addition to exploring the secrets of the demon-sealing secret realm, he should also pay attention to some information about the soul-extinguishing bell. After all, when the soul-extinguishing bell escaped from the secret realm, its tone revealed its hatred. Yu Haoran knew that they would meet sooner or later. At that time, either one of them would die. Brother Yu, you should leave first. Pallas, who took the initiative to break the silence, said to the strange beasts sealed in the stone pillars, I want to bury my brothers one by one. Brother Qi, let me help you. Pallas's loyalty made Yu Haoran sincerely want to make friends with him, so he offered to help. Shaking his head, Pallas refused. No, I still have some things to say to these brothers. All right. Knowing that the Scarlet Loathe would definitely reveal some secrets that were inconvenient for him to know in front of these dead exotic beasts, the considerate Yu Haoran decided to leave. Seeing that Yu Haoran was about to end the transformation secret technique, Pallas suddenly stopped him. Brother Yu, wait a moment. Brother Qi, what's wrong? Yu Haoran asked, puzzled. Brother Yu, how long can your transformation secret technique last? Without explaining why he stopped, Pallas asked him how long the transformation secret technique could last. If I don't use the energy of the blood essence, I can still last for more than 3 hours. But if I use the energy of the blood essence, I can only last for an hour at most. Yu Haoran answered truthfully. So that's how it is. Nodding, the scarlet loath shouted towards the ceiling of the underground cave. The secret realm's rules come out. Then, an emotionless eye appeared in the underground cave. This is the Blue Moon secret realm's power of rules. When Yuharan saw the eye that appeared in the underground cave, even though he was in his transformed state, he was so shocked that he took a few steps back. Then, he pointed at the eye floating above his head and said in a trembling voice, "That's right, this is the first form of the secret realm's power of rules." Pallas confirmed with a nod. Then, Pallas pointed at Yuharan and ordered in a stern tone, "The rules, there are still 3 days before the demon sealing secret realm closes. In these 3 days, wherever Brother Yu goes, the power of rules will automatically avoid him." After hearing Pallas's order, the emotionless eye suddenly widened and a trace of anger and reluctance appeared in it. Yuharan looked at Pallas in disbelief. Although Pallas had once said that he could ignore the secret realm's power of rules and that he could use his own strength to offset the restrictions of the secret realm's power of rules, he had never said that he could command the secret realm's power of rules. "What's wrong? You're not willing." Seeing that the eye didn't say anything for a long time, Pallas's face instantly darkened and his tone became even more sinister. With a swoosh, a white light instantly merged into Yuharan's body. Then, the eye formed by the secret realm's power of rules instantly disappeared in the underground cave. "Brother Yu, that white light just now was the origin of the secret realm's power of rules. With the origin of the secret realm's power of rules, not only can you use the secret transformation technique at will, but it also has the power of rules to deter exotic beasts like the white wolf, making it convenient for you to move freely in the secret realm." Seeing that Yuharan was still in shock, Pallas signaled him to come back to his senses and explain the use of the white light just now. "Brother Qi, this gift is too important." Yuharan swallowed a mouthful of saliva and thanked him stiffly. Chapter 283. In the depths of the secret territory, in the underground cave. "Brother Yu, don't worry about it. It's just a small matter." Pallas waved his hand and said in a casual tone. Then, he walked up to the strange beast that was sealed in the stone pillar. His expression revealed a trace of sadness and self-blame. "Brother Qi, thank you." Although Pallas did not seem to mind, Yuharan still expressed his gratitude. Then, he maintained his transformed state and left the underground cave. After Yuharan left the underground cave, Thaling excitedly suggested, "Yuharan, since the secret territory's rules do not restrict you in any way, why don't you take this opportunity to break through to the martial master realm? Then, use the endless resources in the secret territory to further increase your cultivation and strength." Shaking his head, Yuharan did not accept Thaling's suggestion, nor did he explain why he rejected it. Instead, he maintained his transformed state and flew directly to the outskirts of the secret territory. At the peak of the Yin Spring, "Senior Wu, why don't the 3 of us team up to look for Yuxixiang?" After waiting for nearly 2 days, Wu Jingjun could no longer bear it. Even Zhang Ro did not want to wait any longer. At this moment, not only had she used the Yin Spring's energy to calm the flames of desire in her body, but she had also used the Yin Spring's energy to purify her Yuanli. With the help of the pills and spiritual stones that Wu Jingjun had given her, her cultivation had also successfully broken through to the peak of Grade 4 martial warrior. More importantly, after 2 days of rest, Lai Yun's injuries had basically recovered. With the strength of the 3 of them and the 9-legged worms, strength that was not inferior to that of a martial king, they definitely had the strength to search for Yuharan in the depths of the secret territory. Of course, no problem. If it were not for Zhang Ro's persuasion and obstruction, he would have already decided to leave the Yin Spring Peak yesterday. Therefore, when he heard that they were going to search for Yuharan together, how could Wu Jingjun not agree? All right. Although Lai Yun was somewhat unwilling, considering that his life had been saved by Yuharan and Wu Jingjun, and the fact that he had been able to recover from his serious injuries so quickly was also due to the top-grade medicinal pills that Wu Jingjun had given him, Lai Yun could only agree. If that's the case, let's hurry up and leave. Seeing that neither Wu Jingjun nor Lai Yun had any objections, Zhang Ro got up and left the Yin Spring. She planned to leave the Yin Spring Mountain together and head to the depths of the mystic realm to look for Yu Haoran. Right at this moment, an incomparably deep voice suddenly sounded in their ears. At the same time, accompanied by an incomparably powerful voice, a 49-meter-tall giant monkey suddenly descended on the Yin Spring Mountain. "Who are you?" Zhang Ro asked as she stood in front of Wu Jingjun while using her mind to wake up the nine-legged worm. "Senior Sister Zhang, don't be nervous, this is Yu Shixiang." Motioning Zhang Ro to relax, Wu Jingjun said with a smile. Although he had not seen Yu Haoran's transformation process, he had heard fifth senior brother Huang Zonghua describe Yu Haoran's transformation process in detail. Therefore, after seeing the giant monkey descend on the Yin Spring Mountain without any violent and bloodthirsty aura, Wu Jingjun immediately knew that Yu Haoran had returned safely. "Yu Shixiang, the matter is settled." Walking out from behind Zhang Ro, Wu Jingjun asked happily. Nodding, Yu Haoran directly stretched out his giant palm and motioned for Wu Jingjun to jump onto his giant palm. "Junior Sister Zhang, Junior Brother Lai Yun, with your strength, as long as you don't cross the Yin Spring Mountain, you should have no problem protecting yourself." Yu Haoran, who was still in his transformed state, reminded Wu Jingjun as he lifted him up. "Junior Brother Wu and I still have important matters to attend to, we will part here. If fate wills it, we will meet again in the future." Then, pretending not to see Zhang Ro's tender eyes and ignoring Lai Yun who was about to say something, Yu Haoran directly soared into the sky. Although he had dispersed a portion of the Vajra monkey's essence blood and only maintained the strength of a peak 9th-grade martial king, with his flying speed and the convenience of the secret realm's rules, Yu Haoran brought Wu Jingjun back to the spirit vein in a little more than a minute. Pointing at Gong's son Yiming, who was nailed to the tree trunk, Wu Jingjun asked with a shocked expression, "Yu Shixiang, this is—" "Jingjun, ignore Gong's son Yiming for now, protect me." After dispersing the energy of the Vajra monkey's essence blood and ending the secret transformation technique, Yu Haoran returned to his original form and reminded with a pale face, "Yu Shixiang, are you all right?" Seeing Yu Haoran finish his transformation, Wu Jingjun, who had previously understood the consequences of the secret transformation technique's backlash, hurriedly supported the unsteady Yu Haoran and asked with concern. Shaking his head, with Wu Jingjun's support, Yu Haoran bent his knees and sat down cross-legged. Then, he began to examine the situation in his body. After carefully examining his body, Yu Haoran couldn't help but let out a sigh of relief. Although he had directly used all the energy of the Vajra monkey's essence blood this time, causing the consequences of the secret transformation technique's backlash to be extremely severe, his cultivation and physical body had been constantly improving recently, allowing his body to withstand the backlash to increase greatly. Although the backlash of the secret transformation technique this time had caused his internal organs, meridians, and blood vessels to suffer the same consequences as the first time, the most important thing was that his dantian hadn't been damaged, so it wouldn't affect his following actions. "Jingjun, I'm fine." After ending his internal examination, Yu Haoran opened his eyes and indicated to Wu Jingjun that he was fine. After that, he took out a few recovery pills from his storage ear. While taking the pills, Yu Haoran instructed, "Jingjun, with Gong's son Yiming as the base, there are disciples nailed to the tree trunks on the left and right. Go and rescue them now." "Yu Shixiang, what about your safety? If he had to rescue the others, then who would protect Yu Haoran?" Coming. Turning his head to look at the depths of the spirit vein, Yu Haoran instantly saw a red shadow appear in front of him. Seeing the pale Yu Haoran sitting cross-legged on the ground, the red redwood boar snorted in concern. Yu Shixiang, are you all right? Lin Mengyao jumped down from the red redwood boar's back and hurriedly asked. Brother Boar, I'm fine. Yu Haoran reached out and rubbed the red redwood boar's ear, indicating that he was fine. Soon after, Yu Haoran's originally gentle expression instantly turned cold. Junior Sister Lin, you're also awake. Many thanks to Yu Shixiang for saving me. Facing Yu Haoran's change in attitude, although Lin Mengyao felt a bit of heartache, she knew that she was the cause of all this. Therefore, Lin Mengyao still expressed her gratitude. It was just a lift of a finger, there's no need to thank me. Yu Haoran waved his hand, indicating that he didn't mean to save her. Soon after, he said to the red redwood boar, Brother Boar, I need to calm my heart and heal my injuries. I'll have to trouble you to protect me. Snort, snort. After snorting a few times, the red redwood boar bit Lin Mengyao's trousers, indicating that she should go to the side. Then, it stood 3 meters away from Yu Haoran, vigilant of the surroundings. Chapter 284. In the Blue Moon's secret realm, inside the upper rank 5 spiritual vein. Since his dantian was not damaged, it did not affect him from using the origin energy in his dantian to assist in healing. Therefore, with the help of top-notch elixirs and origin energy, Yu Haoran's injuries quickly recovered. An hour later, as Yu Haoran opened his eyes, his originally pale face gradually became rosy and his originally messy breathing calmed down. However, when he opened his eyes and saw the thousands of dispirited and dispirited disciples 30 meters away from him, he was shocked. Then, when he remembered that he had asked Wu Jingjun to save these people, he immediately felt relieved. Thank you, Yu Shixiang, for saving my life. After seeing Yu Haoran open his eyes and stand up, Gong Sun Yiming, who was familiar with Yu Haoran, quickly stepped forward to express his gratitude. Thank you, Yu Shixiang, for saving my life. With Gong Sun Yiming taking the lead, the remaining thousands of disciples also expressed their gratitude. Of course, only they themselves would know if they were as sincere as Gong Sun Yiming. Everyone, there's no need to be so polite. Yu Haoran waved his hand and gestured. Then, he glanced at the thousands of disciples who had been rescued and realized that most of them were in a state of exhaustion due to excessive blood loss and physical torture. Everyone, where you are standing now is actually an upper-grade rank 5 spiritual vein. The concentration of spiritual qi around the spiritual vein is not inferior to the spiritual qi secret realm that your respective sects use to increase your cultivation. Therefore, for the next period of time, you can use the rich spiritual qi of heaven and earth here to recover and heal your injuries. Of course, if you are confident in your own strength, you can also choose to leave this place. Although there were large amounts of healing elixirs in his storage earring, Yu Haoran had no intention of contributing them. After all, not only was he not familiar with these people in front of him, many of them had tried to kill him because of his storage device and the treasures in it. It was already good enough that he did not take revenge. It was impossible for him to take out precious healing elixirs to help them. Moreover, Yu Haoran knew that he had just revealed the news of the upper rank 5 spiritual vein. It would definitely arouse the greed in some people's hearts. Perhaps they would think of a way to sneak into the source of the spiritual vein and fight for the high-quality spiritual stones. Therefore, Yu Haoran would rather they be unable to act because of their injuries. Otherwise, he would not mind to send them on their deaths again. After hearing Yu Haoran's order, the thousands of disciples present showed a trace of joy on their faces. Moreover, none of them chose to leave. They all looked for a suitable place, either with the help of the spiritual qi or with the help of the medicinal pills they brought with them. They seized the time to heal their injuries. Jingjun Yiming, follow me. Since Gong Sun Yiming was the first to be rescued by Wu Jingjun and was directly given a top-notch healing elixir, Gong Sun Yiming's injuries had already healed by 40%. Although he could not participate in the battle for the time being, basic movements were not a problem. Junior sister Lin, you also come with us. Originally, he only wanted to let Wu Jingjun and Gong's son Yiming go to the depths of the spiritual vein, as well as the cave at the source of the spiritual vein. However, he considered that if he left Lin Mengyao alone, not only would he be too stingy, but he would also put her in an unsafe environment. Helpless, he could only invite her to go into the depths of the spiritual vein. Thank you, Yu Shixiang. Seeing that Yu Haoran was willing to bring her along, Lin Mengyao was very happy. Wu Jingjun and Gong's son Yiming did not know about the existence and effects of the spiritual mist, but Lin Mengyao was very clear about it. It was because of the spiritual mist that she was able to break through to the 5th grade martial warrior in a short day. Then, in a short half a day, her cultivation directly rose to the peak of the 5th grade martial warrior. If it wasn't for the redwood boar suddenly bringing her out of the spiritual mist, she felt that she would have been able to break through to the 6th grade martial warrior in 3 to 4 hours. At this moment, she finally understood why Yu Haoran and Wu Jingjuan's cultivation rose so quickly. It seemed that adventuring was the best way to quickly increase one's strength. Chapter 285. Inside the Blue Moon's secret realm, inside the upper rank 5 spirit vein. Yu Shixiang, why did you leave those people in the upper rank 5 spirit vein? Gong's son Yiming asked in confusion after they were far away from the people they had just rescued. You should know that a portion of those people aren't kind people. They won't be grateful to you for saving them. They might even try to kill you for the high-quality spirit stones in the upper rank 5 spirit vein. Junior Gongsun, I know everything you just said. Nodding his head, Yu Haoran indicated that he knew of the hidden dangers of leaving those people behind. Since Yu Shixiang knows, why did you still do this? Gong's son Yiming asked in confusion. Glancing at Gong's son Yiming, Yu Haoran said with a sneer, Junior Gongsun, with my strength, do I have to be afraid of these people repaying kindness with enmity? That's true. Gong's son Yiming nodded in agreement. After all, Yu Haoran was able to save thousands of people from the hands of so many powerful strange beasts. This meant that his strength had far surpassed the martial master realm. With such powerful strength, he also had the ability to kill those people who were weaker than the strange beasts. Therefore, if those people were sensible, they'd better not provoke Yu Haoran. Otherwise, their fates would be very miserable. Ruh. Just as Yu Haoran and Gong's son Yiming were discussing whether or not the people they rescued would repay kindness with enmity, the redwood boar that had turned into a streak of red light suddenly appeared in front of Yu Haoran and started to hum softly. If it was said that he couldn't understand the meaning behind the redwood boar's excessive snorting in the past, then after many days of contact, he could basically guess what the redwood boar's snorting meant. After the redwood boar finished snorting, Yu Haoran smiled and said to Gong's son Yiming, Junior brother Gong's son, it seems like your guess was correct. Not only will those people repay kindness with enmity, they also plan to kill me and Jingjun in order to obtain the high-quality spirit stones in the depths of the spirit vein. Yu Shixiang, give me an hour. Once I've completely recovered, I'll join hands with senior brother Wu to slaughter these ungrateful bastards. Gong's son Yiming was quite familiar with the redwood boar that had just appeared. This was because after Wu Jingjun rescued him, not only did he explain the relationship between the redwood boar and Yu Haoran, he also vaguely pointed out the powerful strength that the redwood boar possessed. However, when Wu Jingjun went to rescue the second person, the redwood boar suddenly disappeared from his line of sight, and he didn't know what it had done. It seemed like it was hiding in the shadows, monitoring the actions of those people. Therefore, Gong's son Yiming didn't have the slightest bit of doubt about the information that the redwood boar had just revealed. Shaking his head, Yu Haoran rejected Gong's son Yiming's suggestion, and the corners of his mouth slightly rose as he said, The 100 Qi Gates Enforcer Peak disciples will take the lead, and then we'll gather the experts of the 4 sects and prepare to move out in 10 hours. In 10 hours, we'll have basically finished what we need to do. When the time comes, I'll leave them with a generous gift. Let's see who's lucky enough to enjoy this generous gift." He didn't understand what Yu Haoran meant by the generous gift, but since he didn't want him to act, Gongsun Yiming didn't say anything else. "Junior brother Gongsun, this is the pure spirit qi formed by the absorption of a high-level 5 spirit vein. Not only can it increase one's cultivation and strength, but it also has healing effects that don't lose out to top-notch pills," Yu Haoran explained to Gongsun Yiming as he pointed at the spirit qi in front of them. After hearing Yu Haoran's explanation, Gongsun Yiming's eyes widened, and his face was filled with envy and excitement as he said, "So miraculous. Junior brother Gongsun, from now on, you can use the spirit qi to heal while continuing to increase your strength." Yu Haoran glanced at Lin Mengyao, and finally steeled his heart and instructed, "Junior sister Lin, you stay here and accompany junior brother Gongsun." "Got it, Yu Shixiao." Although she really wanted to stay with Yu Haoran, Lin Mengyao knew that this matter couldn't be rushed. Otherwise, the result would be the opposite of what she wanted. Moreover, her cultivation had already reached the peak of 5th grade martial warrior, and she was planning to use the spirit qi to break through. Therefore, she agreed with him willingly. "Junior brother Gongsun, cultivate well." Patting Gongsun Yiming's shoulder, Yu Haoran brought Wu Jingjun deeper into the spirit qi. When they entered the core of the spirit qi and were 50 meters away from the entrance to the spirit vein, Yu Haoran took out the What I Wish rod. As soon as the What I Wish rod left Yu Haoran's acupuncture point, it immediately began to frantically absorb the spirit qi. "What I Wish rod, I'll leave you here for the time being to heal," Yu Haoran instructed as he inserted the What I Wish rod into the ground. "If I'm not done with my business and the spirit qi is unable to heal your injuries, you should know how to find me." Shaking it left and right, the What I Wish rod indicated that it knew and continued to crazily absorb the spirit qi. "Let's go." After reminding the shocked Wu Jingjun, Yu Haoran continued to walk towards the spirit vein's entrance. Seeing the What I Wish rod crazily absorbing the spirit qi, the red redwood boar's eyes revealed a complicated expression. Soon after, it strode forward with its 4 short legs and hurriedly chased after them. "Brother Boar, in the cave below, there is a very important treasure to me," Yu Haoran said apologetically as he pointed at the entrance to the spirit vein source. "This treasure is related to a very important secret, so I hope that you can continue to guard the entrance for me and prevent anyone from entering." "Ruh." The red redwood boar snorted a few times and crawled 2 meters away from the entrance to express its attitude. "Thank you, Brother Boar." Yu Haoran cupped his fists and thanked it. Soon after, he led Wu Jingjun into the cave. But just as they were about to enter the cave, Yu Haoran suddenly turned his head and said to the red redwood boar, "Brother Boar, if my guess is correct, you're doing your best to help me because you want to use me to leave the Blue Moon's secret realm, or rather, leave the Demon Sealing's secret realm, right?" Yu Haoran's baffling words caused the red redwood boar to immediately stand up and look at Yu Haoran with vigilance. "Looks like my guess is correct." The red redwood boar's vigilant reaction let Yu Haoran know that his and Thaling's guess was correct. He was indeed planning to use the pet beast contract to leave the secret realm. "Brother Boar, don't worry. I've already discussed it with Brother Red. When the secret realm closes, he and I will work together to change the secret realm's rules and send you and me out of the secret realm at the same time. So, you don't need to sign a pet beast contract with me." After leaving behind his promise, Yu Haoran led Wu Jingjun into the cave. Chapter 286. Inside the Blue Moon's secret realm, inside the high-grade spirit vein. "Yu Shixiang, you said that the reason why the red redwood boar helped you was because it wanted to use you to leave the Blue Moon's secret realm, and not because it was following you wholeheartedly?" After entering the cave, Wu Jingjun asked somewhat indignantly. This was because he had come into contact with the red redwood boar relatively early. Back then, it was under the red redwood boar's lead that he successfully found Yuhauran. Therefore, he was rather grateful to the red redwood boar. During their second encounter, Yuhauran even let the red redwood boar protect him. In Wu Jingjuan's opinion, the red redwood boar must have been subdued by Yu Shixiang's personal charm and was willing to follow him. However, he didn't think that all of this was originally planned, a conspiracy. That's right. Nodding, Yuhauran confirmed. After receiving Yuhauran's confirmation, Wu Jingjun angrily complained, to think that I was so respectful to it just now. I even gave it the few precious elixirs that senior brother gave me. Don't mind it. We're just taking what we need. Waving his hand, he indicated that Wu Jingjun didn't need to mine the elixirs. He also expressed that he didn't care about the red redwood boar's selfishness. After all, with the red redwood boar's strength, when he left the spirit vein to chase after the enchanted beast, it could enter the spirit cave alone. It could either kill the spirit source or take the level 4 spirit stones on the spirit cave's wall. However, he didn't say that, which meant that he still respected him. Since Yuhauran, who was being used, didn't mind, Wu Jingjun could only shrug his shoulders and didn't say anything else. Yu Shixiang, this is? Because Yuhauran was leading the way, Wu Jingjun didn't pay attention to the situation below his feet. After entering the spirit cave, he immediately fell into the spirit liquid. Originally, he still wanted to struggle out of the spirit liquid, but countless pure spirit qi entered his body through his pores, causing his strength, which had already reached its limit, to have a slight increase. This caused Wu Jingjun to immediately stop struggling and ask with a shocked expression on his face. When the spiritual qi of heaven and earth reaches a certain level of purity and quantity, it will turn into a liquid state. While explaining Wu Jingjuan's interrogation, Yuhauran's gaze turned towards the jade bed, looking at the spiritual source that was still in a numb state. Jingjun, this is a storage pouch that can store items. After it recognizes you as its master, you are responsible for collecting the level 4 spirit stones on the wall. Yuhauran instructed as he tossed the storage pouch that the enchanted beast had given him to Wu Jingjun. Yu Shixiang, you mean to say that you're giving this storage pouch to me? Wu Jingjun asked in disbelief as he caught the pouch that Yuhauran had tossed over. Although he hadn't been in the 100 Qi Gate for long and didn't have much life experience, Wu Jingjun still had some general knowledge of the Tianxian continent thanks to his knowledgeable fifth senior, Huang Zonghua. For example, the scarcity of storage magic tools. According to Huang Zonghua in the 100 Qi Gate, whose overall strength was in the middle of the second-rate sex, apart from a dozen or so martial emperors who might have a storage magic tool that could store items, the rest of the peak lords, elders, deacons, and core disciples didn't have the qualifications or ability to own a storage magic tool. However, when Yu Shixiang had tossed the pouch to him, he had clearly said that he wanted him to recognize him as its master. Didn't that mean that he was giving the storage pouch to him? A mere storage pouch with a space of only 30 square meters has already made you so excited. If I were to give you a storage bracelet with a space of 300 or 400 square meters, or a storage ring with a space of thousands or even tens of thousands of square meters, wouldn't you be ecstatic to death? Originally, Yuhauran didn't want to pay attention to Wu Jingjun. However, when he saw how useless he was, he couldn't help but criticize him. In fact, it wasn't that Yuhauran didn't want to give a storage bracelet with a larger space to Wu Jingjun. However, after considering Wu Jingjuan's strength and the preciousness of a storage magic tool, Yuhauran didn't want to give it to him. If he gave the storage bracelet to Wu Jingjun, not only would he not be helping him, he might even be harming him. After all, storage magic tools were too precious and rare. It was easy to arouse the greed and impulsiveness of some people. In the face of Yuhauran's criticism, Wu Jingjun didn't care at all. He used the method that his fifth senior brother Huang Zonghua had taught him to force out a drop of essence blood and then fused it into the storage pouch. Then, he began to act like a child and began to continuously put in and take out items. In this regard, Yuhaoran smiled and shook his head. He didn't remind him or criticize him. This was because when he received his first storage magic tool in his previous life, he had experimented with it more than 10 times like Wu Jingjun. Therefore, he didn't care about Wu Jingjun, who was experimenting with the storage pouch's function. Yuhaoran directly swam to the side of the jade bed. Looking at the numb expression on Ling Yuan's face, Yuhaoran took a deep breath and then ordered Thaling, seal the power of Ling Yuan. Although 2 days had passed and the laws of the rank 5 upper spiritual vein had been restored, with the help of Palace, Yuhaoran was not restricted by the laws of the secret realm. Therefore, Thaling, who was in his sea of consciousness, was also not restricted by the laws of the secret realm. Because Ling Yuan was a stage 5, rank 1 powerhouse, and he was in his main body, the Tower Genie took almost 10 minutes to completely seal Ling Yuan's power. Done. Withdrawing his divine sense, Thaling indicated that the seal had been completed. Thaling, release the enchanted beast. After receiving Thaling's signal, Yuhaoran continued to signal him to release the similarly sealed enchanted beast. After leaving the victor, the enchanted beast looked at Yuhaoran in shock. This was because it did not expect that Yuhaoran, who was already very outstanding, was actually hiding the power of the law of time, a treasure that was far superior to ordinary divine artifacts. Mystic, if you still want to live, it's best that you don't reveal anything you saw. Otherwise, even if Yuhaoran doesn't kill you, I definitely won't let you go. Seeing that the enchanted beast was about to reveal the secret of the victor, Thaling hurriedly used his divine sense to send a warning to the enchanted beast. Sir Supreme God, Mystic obeys. The enchanted beast, who could also use the power of divine sense, hurriedly replied respectfully. Frowning slightly, Yuhaoran did not understand why the enchanted beast, who had left the victor, was looking at him with a complicated expression of shock, fear, and even envy. However, now was not the time to pursue this question, so Yuhaoran pointed at the spirit vein. Mystic, look at the spirit vein that has been with you for 100 years. After hearing Yuhaoran mention the spirit vein, the enchanted beast temporarily put aside its shock towards the victor and Yuhaoran, and turned its head to look at the spirit vein on the jade bed. After seeing the spirit vein's empty and lifeless eyes, the enchanted beast could not help but feel its heart tremble. Although the enchanted beast was selfish and would do anything to protect its own life, it was not that it did not have any feelings for the spirit vein after living with it for 100 years. Chapter 287. High Level 5 Spiritual Pulse. Spiritual Pulse, I'm sorry. It's all my fault. I shouldn't have left you behind and run for my life. I shouldn't have stolen your treasures. Along with the enchanting beast's warm caress, the originally empty and lifeless eyes of the enchanting beast slowly regained some color. As the enchanted beast sincerely apologized, the glow in Spiritual Pulse's eyes grew brighter. Brother enchanted beast, why did you leave me alone? As the enchanted beast continued to caress Spiritual Pulse and apologize sincerely, Spiritual Pulse, who had sealed off his consciousness, suddenly asked, Spiritual Pulse, you're awake. The enchanted beast exclaimed in surprise after hearing Spiritual Pulse's question. Yuhaoran and the pagoda spirit in his mind heaved a sigh of relief when they saw that the spiritual source had regained consciousness. Using the enchanted beast to awaken Spiritual Pulse was just a gamble that Yuhaoran came up with based on his experiences in his previous life. As for whether it would succeed in the end, he had no idea at all. Fortunately, things developed as he expected. Through the enchanted beast's contact, Spiritual Pulse successfully recovered his consciousness. Yuhaoran, should we make a move now? Seeing that Spirit Origin had completely regained his consciousness, the Tower Spirit, who was ready, asked. Let's wait for a while. Shaking his head, Yuhauran signaled Thaling not to make a move for the time being so that Spiritual Pulse and the enchanted beast could have some time to talk. That works too. Since the enchanted beast and Spiritual Pulse had already been sealed by him, he wasn't afraid that they would escape. Thus, Thaling didn't say anything else. Turning around, Yuhauran saw that Wu Jingjun was digging up the level 4 spiritual stones on the wall. His digging speed wasn't slow either, so he didn't disturb him. Instead, he looked at the spiritual liquid at his feet. Thaling, is it possible to open up a space within the Victor and store all of this spiritual liquid into the Victor? Yuhauran asked expectantly as he pointed at the spiritual liquid under his feet. If Victor could store these spirit liquids, then when his cultivation broke through to the martial master realm, he would be able to borrow Victor's ability to accelerate time, as well as the spirit liquid's ability to improve his physique, allowing him to increase his cultivation and strength even faster. After all, Thaling still had almost a year of accelerated usage time. Yes and no. Thaling gave an ambiguous answer. Thaling? What does that mean? Yuhauran didn't quite understand. That's fine. It's because Victor can create such a space. That's not fine. It's because if you want to maintain the liquefied state of spirit energy, you have to ensure that the vessel that holds the spirit liquids is completely sealed, but it also has to provide spirit energy at all times. Thaling looked at Wu Jingjun, who was digging up level 4 spiritual stones, and said with a teasing tone, Yuhauran, if you're willing to contribute 365 level 4 spiritual stones, I can keep the Victor's spirit liquids in its current state. Then forget it. Yuhauran shook his head and directly refused. It wasn't that Yuhauran couldn't take out 365 level 4 spiritual stones. Apart from the several hundred level 4 spiritual stones that Wu Jingjun was digging up, there were about 900 level 4 spiritual stones in the storage rings of the enchanted beast and spirit source. However, the spirit energy contained in each level 4 spiritual stone was not inferior to the spirit liquids under his feet in terms of cultivation and strength. Moreover, if the spirit liquids were stored in the Victor, it meant that only he could use them. This was not in line with his thoughts of taking care of the people around him. Looking at the spirit liquids that filled almost half of the cave, he could only give them up because there was no vessel to hold them. Although Yuhauran was unwilling, he could only accept reality helplessly. Yuhauran, I've already received Spirit Source's forgiveness. He won't seal off his own consciousness anymore. Just as Yuhauran reluctantly gave up on the spirit liquids under his feet, the enchanted beast, who had finished talking with Spirit Source, replied respectfully. Nodding to indicate that he had done well, Yuhauran was about to let Thaling deal with the enchanted beast when he suddenly remembered that the enchanted beast had lived in the Blue Moon's secret realm for over 100 years. There were many rare treasures in his storage ring. Perhaps there was a treasure that could take away a portion of the spirit liquids. Enchanted beast, do you have any way to take away the spirit liquids? Yuhauran asked as he pointed at the spirit liquids under his feet. Yes. Nodding, the enchanted beast wanted to connect to his storage ring so that he could take out a treasure that could hold the spirit liquids. However, when his spirit could not connect to the storage ring, he remembered that his storage device had been taken away by Yuhauran. Helpless, he could only smile bitterly. In my storage ring there is a palm-sized green gourd. When Pallas removed the imprint that the enchanted beast had left on the storage ring, Yuhauran took the opportunity to leave his consciousness on the storage ring. This meant that the storage ring that the enchanted beast had once used was now Yuhauran's. Therefore, when he heard the enchanted beast's reminder, Yuhauran quickly connected to the storage ring and found a green gourd. Yuhauran, this gourd is not simple. It is a natural treasure that has its own independent space. After Yuhauran took out the green gourd, Thaling, who had scanned it with his spirit sense, could not help but exclaim in surprise. To be able to shock the knowledgeable Thaling, Yuhauran immediately asked with interest, "Thaling, how big is the space in this gourd? Can it store the spirit liquids for a long time?" "Storing the spirit liquids is not a problem at all." After a rough estimation, Thaling replied, "As for how long it can be stored, as long as the gourd is not destroyed, the effects of the spirit liquids will not be weakened. Instead, as time passes, the effects of the spirit liquids will become stronger and stronger. So powerful." After hearing Thaling's introduction of the green gourd, Yuhauran was pleasantly surprised. He suddenly remembered that in the sacred place of alchemy, the Valley of the Medicine Masters, Yao Lao, who was known as the #1 alchemist in the Tianxian continent, had an identical green gourd on his waist. Could it be that the gourd was the same as the one in his hand, a top-notch treasure that could store spirit energy? However, this question did not bother Yuhauran for long. His main goal now was to store the spirit liquids in the cave. "Thaling, how do I use this gourd?" Looking at the completely sealed green gourd, Yuhauran really could not find a way to use it. To use a treasure that grows naturally, you must use your soul to temper it and make it your own weapon before you can use it. Thaling explained, "I'll leave it to you." The gourd required the tempering of one's soul. After hearing the pagoda genie's explanation, Yuhauran signaled for him to do it. "Okay." After keeping the green gourd in the victor, Thaling used his soul to temper it while asking about the spirit source. Turning his head to look at the spirit source, he realized that it was also watching him. After seeing the childlike helplessness and fear in its eyes, Yuhauran was afraid that he would be soft-hearted and leave it to Thaling. "I'll leave it to you. Keep." Chapter 288. Inside the cave in the upper level 5 spirit vein. The dark azure cloud jade is indeed capable of nourishing the artifact's spirit and spirit. With this jade bed, the injuries to my spirit will have a chance to recover quickly. Thaling, whose body was still in an illusory state, said in a pleasantly surprised tone as he chased the spirit source that was crawling on the jade bed to the side. Then, Thaling controlled the jade bed to move to the top floor of the victor and sat cross-legged on it. Thaling, whose body was originally only slightly fuller, not only did his body become fuller in an instant after sitting cross-legged on the jade bed, but his illusory hands also became fleshy. 10 years, at most 10 years, my spirit will be able to reform and take shape again. Then, I will be able to leave the victor and return to my former glory as the supreme god. Thaling communicated with Yuhauran as he used the dark azure cloud jade to heal the injuries to his spirit and stabilize his emotions. Yuhauran, when the natal ritual implement is completely formed, the spirit source will be refined into the ritual implement. "Okay, I'll have to trouble you for everything." Yuhauran nodded and thanked him. "Yuhauran, what do you plan to do with the enchanted beast?" Thaling asked as he looked at the enchanted beast, who was standing beside him with a very respectful expression. After asking this question, Thaling couldn't help but be stunned. He suddenly realized that when he faced Yuhauran, he had been condescending when they first met. He didn't need to ask for Yuhauran's opinion in everything he did. They had been familiar with each other all the way until now, when they interacted as equals. This subconscious change made Thaling realize, as Yuhauran's cultivation and strength increased, the relationship between the two of them would also change from condescending to equal interaction. In the future, Thaling would be in the position of being led by Yuhauran in the future. Fortunately, on the day he reached an agreement with Yuhauran, he was already mentally prepared. Therefore, this change in status didn't make Thaling feel uncomfortable at all. Kill him. Recalling what the enchanted beast had done in the past, especially the 107 exotic beasts in the underground cave, Yuhauran finally made up his mind. "Yuhauran, in my opinion, we should keep the enchanted beast alive for now. After all, strange beasts like this that are good at controlling the minds of living beings are extremely rare in the profound sky continent. I don't dare to say that the enchanted beast is one of a kind, but after so many years, I haven't seen many enchanted beasts. Yu Haoran's way of dealing with the enchanted beast wasn't out of Thaling's expectations, but Thaling, who had promised to let the enchanted beast live, suggested. Moreover, I suspect that the mysterious man who killed tens of thousands of mythological beasts with the soul-extinguishing bell in ancient times is very likely the ancestor of the enchanted beast. Therefore, let him live. Perhaps he will have a way to deal with the soul-extinguishing bell in the future. After hearing Thaling's suggestion, Yu Haoran felt that it made sense and agreed, all right. But you must keep him in the victor and ensure that he can never escape your control. In this world, there is no human or exotic beast that can escape from my control, Thaling said in an unusually domineering manner. Then, after keeping the enchanted beast in the victor, Thaling took out the freshly refined gourd. Yu Haoran, I've refined the gourd into a magical weapon. You can extract the spiritual liquid from the cave. You can extract the spiritual liquid directly. You don't have to give it to me. Yu Haoran said as he looked at the green gourd in his hand. Yu Haoran, I've been staying in your knowledge sea to heal. My divine soul has unknowingly integrated with your aura. Therefore, you can directly use the treasures and magical weapons that I've refined. Through a detailed introduction, Thaling further improved the relationship between the two. He also taught Yu Haoran how to use the gourd. Thaling, tell me how I should thank you. On the contrary, he could use the treasures and magical weapons that had been refined by Thaling. Yu Haoran was very touched by Thaling's actions. All right, don't be so mushy. I need to communicate with the spirit source now. I hope he'll be willing to become an artifact spirit. That way, it'll be more beneficial to improving the quality and power of the life-bound ritual artifact. The tower spirit waved its hand and spoke in a grateful tone that Yu Haoran was not used to. Therefore, for the next period of time, if there is no danger, try not to disturb me. All right, go do your thing. Nodding, Yu Haoran motioned Thaling to go do his own thing first. Then, using the method that Thaling had just taught him, he directly lifted the green gourd and began to extract the spiritual liquid under his feet. The gourd was originally completely closed. As Yu Haoran pinched his hands, the sharp mouth at the top of the gourd automatically opened. Then, a strong suction force, like a whale sucking in water, directly sucked the spiritual liquid under his feet into the gourd. 3 minutes. In just 3 minutes, nearly half of the spiritual liquid in the cave had been sucked into the gourd. Using his consciousness to check the space inside the gourd, he found that so much spiritual liquid only occupied 1/3 of the gourd's space. Putting away the green gourd, Yu Haoran's gaze turned to the ground that had been drained of spiritual liquid. Then, an uncontrollable surprise surged in his heart. Because the ground that had been drained of spiritual liquid was not ordinary soil. It was all paved with 6th-level and 5th-level spirit stones, and even many 4th-level spirit stones. He bent down and dug out a 6th-level spirit stone. Carefully feeling it, he found that although a part of the spiritual chi in the 6th-level spirit stone had been lost, it had no effect on the quality of the spirit stone. After careful calculation, the number of 6th-level and 5th-level spirit stones on the ground made of spirit stones was almost 100,000. Even the 4th-level spirit stones were close to 1,000. Looking up at Wu Jingjun, he found that although his mining progress was very fast, because the spirit stones around the wall were too scattered, he had only dug out 1/3 of the spirit stones. Jingjun, come down. He called to Wu Jingjun, who had climbed to the top of the cave. Yu Shixiang this. Hearing Yu Haoran's call, Wu Jingjun directly jumped down, but when he saw the floor paved with spirit stones, he sucked in a breath of cold air and pointed at the spirit stones on the ground, unable to say a word. Jingjun, don't worry about the spirit stones on the wall. Use all your strength to mine the spirit stones on the ground. Pointing to the spirit stones on the ground, Yu Haoran ordered as he began to mine them himself. 10 minutes later, Wu Jingjun, who was holding several 5th-level spirit stones in his hand, said with a gloomy face, "Yu Shixiang, my storage bag is full." Yu Haoran turned his head to take a look and instructed, "Put the spirit stones we've mined aside for the time being and store them all in my storage artifact." 6 hours. It took nearly 6 hours for Yu Haoran and Wu Jingjun to mine all the spirit stones on the ground. Although they also knew that there were more spirit stones deeper underground, they did not move. Chapter 289. Inside the cave of the rank 5 upper spirit vein. Thaling, help me store these spirit stones into the victor. Seeing that Wu Jingjun was unable to store the spirit stones in his storage bag and was temporarily piled up at the side like a small mountain, Yu Haoran could only trouble Thaling to use his divine sense to store the spirit stones in an instant. Although it wasn't in any danger, the Tower Genie didn't complain about the nearly 100,000 high-quality spirit stones in the face of it all. "Let's go." After Thaling stored the spirit stones, Yu Haoran looked around the cave. After discovering that there were no valuable treasures left behind, he instructed Wu Jingjun, "Yu Shixiang, where are the rank 4 spirit stones?" Wu Jingjun said with some reluctance as he pointed at the rank 4 spirit stones on the cave wall above his head. "No need." Shaking his head, Yu Haoran walked towards the entrance of the cave. Sigh. Looking at the rank 4 spirit stones on the wall with great reluctance, Wu Jingjun could only sigh and follow Yu Haoran out of the cave. Ruh! When Yu Haoran left the cave and appeared in the spirit fog, the red redwood boar guarding 2 meters away from the cave entrance stood up and snorted at Yu Haoran. "Brother Boar, there are still 2 more days before the secret realm closes. During this time, I might have to go to another place and might not be able to reach the grassland you are at in time." Hearing that the red redwood boar intended to leave temporarily and wait until the Blue Moon's secret realm closed to meet him at the grassland where they first met, Yu Haoran frowned and said. Subsequently, he remembered that he had to give Du Yuan some poison Dao cultivation experience and secret techniques, so he suggested, "Brother Boar, tearing the void of the secret realm requires Brother Red to personally do it, so I will make a trip to the Red Rocks before the secret realm closes. If you don't mind, I hope that you can wait for me in the poisonous fog of the Red Rocks." After lowering its head and pondering for a moment, the red redwood boar nodded, then turned around and disappeared into the spirit mist. "Yu Shixiang, after leaving the Blue Moon's secret realm, will the red redwood boar continue to follow by your side?" Looking at the red redwood boar that was quickly leaving, Wu Jingjun asked with some reluctance. Although the red redwood boar had a plan to approach Yu Haoran, Wu Jingjun understood the situation after the test of countless spirit stones in the cave. Even if the red redwood boar had its own selfish motives, it had never harmed Yu Haoran. Instead, it had sincerely helped Yu Haoran. Therefore, considering the red redwood boar's outstanding talent and astonishing strength, Wu Jingjun still hoped that the red redwood boar could follow Yu Haoran back to Clear Cloud Peak and become a member of Clear Cloud Peak. He won't. He has his own path to walk. Shaking his head, Yu Haoran stepped out of the core of the spirit mist. When he arrived at the place where the What I Like staff was originally stored, he discovered that the What I Like staff that was inserted into the ground had already stopped devouring the spirit mist. However, it didn't leave the spirit mist to find him. Instead, it automatically returned to the state it was in when he first met it, which was like a fire stick that was used to cook food. Yu Haoran, it seems that the spirit mist not only healed the injuries of the What I Like staff, but it also had an unexpected effect in stimulating the hidden consciousness of the What I Like staff. At this very moment, the What I Like staff is in the process of giving birth to its own consciousness. After hearing Thaling's explanation, Yu Haoran stared at the What I Like staff. After pondering for about 5 minutes, he opened his mouth and spoke. "What I Like staff, I know your true origins. I also know that with your arrogance, you will definitely look down on a human like me. Therefore, I will give you two choices. The first choice is to continue assisting me. In the future, when I become stronger, not only will I help you completely recover, but I will also help you find a suitable master for you. The second choice is for you and me to part ways here. After hearing Yu Haoran's two choices, the What I Like staff, which had returned to its fire stick state, instantly turned back into a staff that shone with golden light. After that, the shimmering What I Like staff floated in front of Yu Haoran, as if it was considering whether he was worthy of its following. It didn't take long to consider, only about 10 seconds. The What I Like staff directly soared into the sky, broke through the void, and left the Blue Moon's secret realm. Looking at the What I Like staff that soared into the sky and left the Blue Moon's secret realm, Yu Haoran's face instantly darkened. Although he had given the two choices in Yu Haoran's opinion, he had been in contact with the What I Like staff for such a long time. Furthermore, he had triggered the battle consciousness of the Monkey Emperor in the What I Like staff in the underground karst cave, allowing them to be more familiar with each other. It should have been willing to follow him. However, the What I Like staff chose to leave. This made Yu Haoran extremely reluctant to part with it, and also made him lose a powerful technique. After all, the secret transformation technique combined with the staff technique that the Monkey Emperor had imparted to him. Under special circumstances, he could unleash the Sky Staff strike of a martial saint expert. Yu Haoran, if you want to leave, then leave. Keeping you in my hands will only be a disaster sooner or later. Thaling was afraid that Yu Haoran wouldn't be able to accept the What I Like staff leaving, so he temporarily stopped threatening the spiritual source and comforted him. Thaling, is my talent and potential really not as good as the Monkey Emperor of the near ancient era? Yu Haoran was unconvinced as he asked for confirmation. After hearing Yu Haoran's confirmation, Thaling was instantly speechless. He didn't know how to answer such an obviously idiotic question. Fortunately, the confirmation just now was only a momentary sigh from Yu Haoran. Following that, he returned to normal. Although he had lost the What I Like staff, his gains in the Blue Moon's secret realm had far exceeded the value of the What I Like staff. Therefore, Yu Haoran quickly calmed down the reluctance in his heart and continued to walk out of the spirit fog. Yu Shixiang. Hearing the footsteps, Lin Mengyao, who was consolidating her cultivation, hurriedly opened her eyes and stood up. After seeing that the people who had come were Yu Haoran and Wu Jingjun, Lin Mengyao heaved a sigh of relief and enthusiastically greeted them. Nodding at Lin Mengyao, Yu Haoran's gaze turned towards Gong Sun Yiming. Seeing that Gong Sun Yiming's face was abnormally red, and that the aura on his body was sometimes strong and sometimes weak, Yu Haoran's expression changed. This was because Gong Sun Yiming's current state was clearly in a state of qi deviation. In a flash, he appeared behind Gong Sun Yiming and placed both his hands on his back. A strong wave of elemental energy forcefully entered his body and began to help him calm down the elemental energy that was running amok in his body. By suppressing the chaotic elemental energy, Yu Haoran finally knew why Gong Sun Yiming had suddenly entered qi deviation. It was because he couldn't control the greed in his heart for the spirit fog and had been desperately absorbing the spirit fog. If it was outside the secret realm, with his own accumulation, not only would he have no problem desperately absorbing the spirit fog, he could also use it to break through to the martial master realm. However, in the Blue Moon's secret realm where the rules of the secret realm were suppressed, he was courting death. Chapter 290. Rank 5 Upper Spirit Vein. After suppressing and sorting out the origin energy in his body for nearly 10 minutes, Gong Sun Yiming finally returned to normal. Yu Shixiang, I'm sorry. With the help of the origin energy that had calmed down, Gong Sun Yiming adjusted his breathing for a while. Then, he opened his eyes and apologized to Yu Haoran with satisfaction and shame. Without criticizing Gong Sun Yiming too much, Yu Haoran only reminded him with concern, after the Blue Moon's secret realm closes, don't rush to break through to the martial master realm for the time being. When your mental state cultivation surpasses your own cultivation, then you can choose to break through to the martial master realm. Yes, Yu Shixiao. All right, everything that needs to be done is done. It's time for us to leave. Yu Haoran instructed indifferently as he looked at the spiritual mist that had thinned by half due to the crazy devouring of the do as I wish rod. With regards to this, the three people standing behind him did not have any objections. When they walked out of the spiritual mist, Yu Haoran indicated to Wu Jingjun and the rest to wait for a while. Then, he took out a slaughter spirit pill from his storage ear. Seeing Yu Haoran take out the slaughter spirit pill, Thaling reprimanded him with a somewhat unhappy tone. Yu Haoran, I've told you before that I don't want you to use the slaughter spirit pill. Thaling, humans are harmless to tigers, but tigers are harmful to humans. As long as those people follow my instructions and don't enter the depths of the spirit vein without permission, then they won't be harmed by the slaughter spirit pill. Yu Haoran did not stop using the slaughter spirit pill because of Thaling's anger. He directly crushed the slaughter spirit pill in his hand and then used the wind from his palm to send the powder of the slaughter spirit pill into the spiritual mist. One day and one night. The toxicity of the slaughter spirit pill can only last for 24 hours. If they follow my instructions and stay where they are to heal, then they won't be harmed. But if they don't listen... With a sneer, Yu Haoran turned and left the spiritual mist. Looking at the spiritual mist fusing with the slaughter spirit pill, Thaling sighed and didn't try to persuade him any further. Through another exit, Yu Haoran led Wu Jingjun and the others out of the spirit vein. Standing at the entrance of the spirit vein, Gong Sun Yiming asked, Yu Shixiao, where are we going next? According to my master's instructions, there is an elemental energy fruit tree that is about to mature in the Blue Moon's secret realm. I will go and fight for a few elemental energy fruits, Yu Haoran said as he turned his head to look at the rank 5 upper spirit vein. Gong Sun Yiming frowned and looked at Yu Haoran in confusion. Elemental energy fruits were generally used by disciples who had reached the peak of 9th grade martial warrior but were unable to break through. Only then would they choose to use elemental energy fruits to break through. And for disciples like Yu Haoran, who could be called monstrous, it was impossible for them to use elemental energy fruits. Facing Gong Sun Yiming's puzzled gaze, Yu Haoran didn't explain too much. There were 3 main reasons why he wanted to fight for the powerless fruit. First, before the Blue Moon's secret realm opened, his master Feng Qinyun had told him to find a way to obtain an elemental energy fruit. Second, Qinyun Peak would definitely continue to recruit new disciples in the future. The elemental energy fruit could be used to motivate and reward those new disciples. Third, he planned to use the elemental energy fruit to refine a kind of elixir that could increase the quality of elemental energy. Therefore, not only did he want to fight for the elemental energy fruit, he also wanted to obtain at least 3 of them. Yu Shixiang, I know the exact location of the elemental energy fruit tree. After hearing the conversation between Yu Haoran and Gong Sun Yiming, Lin Mengyao carefully thought about it. She suddenly remembered that when she was captured by Zhao Zong and brought back to the spirit vein by the strange beast, she was awake for a period of time. It was during that period of time when she was awake that she inadvertently saw a spirit tree that was the size of 9 fists and emitted traces of elemental energy in a valley. Thinking of the various characteristics of the elemental energy fruit tree, it was very similar to the spirit tree she saw before, so she took the initiative to remind him. Oh, junior sister Lin, where is the elemental energy fruit tree now? Yu Haoran asked in surprise. Although the participating disciples all knew that there was an elemental energy fruit tree in the Blue Moon's secret realm, no one knew the exact location of the elemental energy fruit tree. This was because every time the elemental energy fruit tree bloomed and bore fruit, its trunk and branches would wither and its roots would burrow into the ground. When it broke through the ground and sprouted again, the elemental energy fruit tree would randomly appear in another place. Fortunately, after more than 10 explorations during the opening of the secret realm, although the elemental energy fruit tree's location often changed, it mostly appeared in the periphery of the secret realm. This could be considered as giving hope to those disciples who wanted to use the elemental energy fruit to break through to the martial master realm. I'm not sure of the exact location because I only inadvertently saw it at that time. So, if I want to find the elemental energy fruit tree, I need to confirm based on the familiar environment. Lin Mengyao also lied without blushing. Relying on the comprehension that Lin Mengyao displayed during the entrance disciple test, it could be said that she had a photographic memory. Moreover, in order to be able to escape from Zhao Zong's hands, she had pretended to be unconscious during the journey and had already made a mark. The reason why she lied was because she wanted to spend more time with Yu Haoran. Then, I'll have to trouble junior sister Lin to lead the way, Yu Haoran said helplessly as he glanced at Lin Mengyao. Zhou Mengyao is far inferior to Lin Luoran in terms of life experience and psychological quality when facing difficulties. Although she did not blush just now, she could not control the acceleration of her heartbeat. Through Lin Mengyao's sudden acceleration of heartbeat, Yu Haoran knew that she had lied just now. She definitely knew the exact location of the elemental energy fruit tree. However, thinking that Lin Mengyao was a girl after all and there was no deep hatred between them, he could not use harsh methods to deal with her. Yu Shixiang, I want to leave for a period of time. After thinking for a long time, Gongsun Yiming suddenly proposed to leave. Junior brother Gongsun, there are still 2 days before the Blue Moon secret realm closes. It's not good to continue taking risks during this period of time. Yu Haoran frowned and advised. According to Yu Haoran's original intention, he would bring Wu Jingjun and Gongsun Yiming to the group of Red Rocks after fighting for the elemental energy fruit. Firstly, the group of Red Rocks that had the palace as a town was the safest place in the entire Blue Moon secret realm. Secondly, he also hoped to use these 2 days to allow himself, Wu Jingjun, and Gongsun Yiming to properly digest the experience they had gained during this period of time so that they could break through to the martial master realm in the most perfect state after the Blue Moon secret realm closed. Yu Shixiang, I have a sister in the ancient town sect that I rely on. In another month, it will be my sister's 16th birthday, which also means that she can participate in the sect's talent and potential test. At this point, Gongsun Yiming said with a trace of tenderness. So, I've been looking for a stalk of look-setting grass that can maintain one's appearance and a stalk of poria flower that is suitable for foundation establishment. Look-setting grass. Hearing Gongsun Yiming mention the look-setting grass, Yu Haoran suddenly remembered the task that fifth senior brother had entrusted to him before the secret realm opened. Wasn't it to help his sweetheart find a stalk of look-setting grass that could maintain her appearance? Chapter 291. In the Blue Moon Secret Realm. Fortunately, the enchanted beast was also interested in the face-setting grass that could allow a girl to maintain her youthful appearance. Therefore, not only did he collect the face-setting grass in his storage ring, he even collected 5 stalks. More importantly, these 5 stalks of face-setting grass were all over 100 years old. In other words, they could allow a girl's appearance to remain unchanged for 100 years. This made Yu Haoran heave a sigh of relief. Otherwise, he would have to waste time searching for the face-setting grass after obtaining the elemental fruit. As for the poria flower that Gongsun Yiming had mentioned earlier, the enchanted beast's storage ring also had it. However, Yu Haoran did not intend to give it to Gongsun Yiming. Not giving it to him was not because of how precious the poria flower was, nor was it because he was unwilling to part with it. It was because not only could the poria flower not help Gongsun Yiming build her foundation, it might even weaken her special physique. Junior brother Gongsun, coincidentally, when I rescued you, I accidentally obtained a few stalks of face-setting grass of good age. Therefore, you don't have to look for them anymore. Yuharan said with a smile as he took out a stalk of face-setting grass from his storage ring. Seeing the stalk of spirit grass that was 10 centimeters long in Yuharan's hand, Gongsun Yiming shouted in surprise. This is 100-year-old face-setting grass that can allow a girl to maintain her appearance for 100 years. Seeing the face-setting grass that Yuharan took out, Lin Mingyao's breathing also became heavier and her eyes started to shine. Yu Shixiang, can you give me one too? Although she knew that it was unreasonable to ask directly, Lin Mengyao could not resist the temptation of the face-setting grass to maintain her appearance and asked in a very gentle tone. Here. When he decided to give the face-setting grass to Gongsun Yiming, Yuharan knew that Lin Mengyao would not be able to resist the temptation of the face-setting grass and would definitely ask for it. Fortunately, other than the look-setting grass that he had given to Gongsun Yuding, he still had 4 stalks of look-setting grass, which was enough to give to the person he wanted. Therefore, in the face of Lin Mingyao's request, Yuharan readily agreed. Junior martial brother Gongsun, if you believe me, it's best that your sister doesn't use the poria flower for her foundation establishment. Unable to explain why he couldn't use the China root flower, Yuharan could only rely on his own character and hope that Gongsun Yiming would believe him. Gongsun Yiming had read from an ancient book that the poria flower was suitable for martial artists to enter the martial disciple realm. As for the effects recorded in the ancient book and whether it was suitable for his sister, he was also not 100% sure. Therefore, under Yuharan's persuasion, Gongsun Yiming hesitated. Junior martial brother Gongsun, if you are willing to believe me, when your sister reaches the foundation establishment, I will give her a 10th level first-grade foundation establishment pill. Seeing that Gongsun Yiming had fallen into hesitation, Yuharan suddenly felt that there was hope and quickly increased the bargaining chip to entice him. Hearing Yuharan mention the foundation establishment pill, Gongsun Yiming asked in disbelief, Yu Shixiang, is it the foundation establishment pill that is said to be able to build a perfect foundation? Although the foundation establishment pill was not a very high-grade pill, it was the most difficult pill to refine among the low-grade pills. In order to refine the foundation establishment pill, not only did it require a very high level of alchemy skills, but it also required a large amount of precious medicinal herbs. Not to mention the ancient town sect and the 100 Chi Gate, even in the first-rate sects, only monstrous disciples had the opportunity to use the foundation establishment pill to build a perfect foundation. That's right. Originally, Yuharan planned to use another spiritual herb that had similar effects to the poria flower and was very suitable for Gongsun Yuding to replace the foundation establishment pill. However, when he looked through the collection in the enchanted beast storage ring, he found that the spiritual herbs collected by the enchanted beast were completely suitable for refining the foundation establishment pill. Moreover, the foundation establishment pill that he refined was different from the popular foundation establishment pill in the Tianxian continent. The foundation establishment pill refined in the Tianxian continent was only suitable for new disciples who had just started learning martial arts. The foundation establishment pill that he refined was divided into 10 grades, and each grade corresponded to a realm. In other words, the foundation establishment pill that he refined had the heaven-defying effect of building a perfect foundation for each realm. That's great! After receiving Yuharan's confirmation, Gongsun Yiming excitedly expressed his gratitude. Yu Shixiang, I don't have many words of gratitude to say. Just wait and see what we're going to do next. Although he didn't say it explicitly, Gongsun Yiming's words just now could be considered as a guarantee. This made Yuharan feel that his decision to gift the appearance-fixing grass and foundation establishment pill was correct and worth it. Junior Lin, can we trouble you to bring us to find the elemental energy fruit tree now? Seeing that Lin Mengyao had been observing the appearance fixing grass and blushing from time to time, Yu Haoran couldn't help but remind her. Okay. Ecstatic, Lin Mengyao put away the appearance fixing grass and nodded. Then, she turned around and led Yu Haoran and the others straight to the location of the elemental energy fruit tree. In a valley about 600 miles southwest of the Spirit Vein, a group of 7 people from the 100 Chi Gates Achievement Hall was carefully hiding in a bush. Then, they carefully observed the movements in front of them through the gaps in the grass. Senior Run, are you sure the elemental energy fruit tree is in this valley? The woman with a very hot body, surnamed Chern, asked with an impatient expression. Junior Chern, the news that the powerless fruit tree will appear in this valley was personally told by Senior Gong. What do you think I'm not sure? Hearing the woman's question, the disciple surnamed Run immediately retorted with displeasure. However, when his gaze swept over the woman surnamed Chen's towering twin peaks, the displeasure in his heart suddenly turned into lust. So it was Senior Gong who provided the news. Hearing the disciple surnamed Run mention Senior Gong, the woman surnamed Chern immediately nodded. It was as if Senior Gong was a god and whatever he said was the truth. Shu, lower your voice. Someone's coming. Hearing the sound of footsteps behind them, Anran, who didn't worship Senior Gong and had been paying attention to the surroundings, quietly shushed everyone. Through the gaps in the grass, the 7 people from the Achievement Hall saw a group of more than 40 people rapidly approaching the grass. Senior Run, they wouldn't have discovered us, right? Although her body was very hot, the woman surnamed Chern was very timid. When she saw that the group of people were rushing in the direction of the grass where they were hiding, she immediately asked nervously. I don't know. The disciple surnamed Run shook his head. Then, he took a deep breath and ordered the other 6 people. Get ready to fight at any time. After hearing Senior Run's order, the other 3 men and 3 women immediately secretly circulated their elemental energy and prepared to attack at any time. However, the girl hiding at the edge of the grass was only an early 2nd-grade martial warrior. Her face was abnormally pale. Run Werder, I know you're hiding in the grass. The group of more than 40 people suddenly stopped when they were about 10 meters away from the grass. Then, a disciple with the same cultivation and aura as a peak 9th-grade martial warrior took a step forward. He secretly circulated his elemental energy and shouted at the grass in front of him. Run Werder, if you don't want to become roasted chicken, you'd better obediently come out. Otherwise, don't blame us for setting you on fire. Chapter 292. In the Blue Moon's Secret Realm. Yuan Li Jun, there is no enmity between you and me. Why are you following us? Seeing that the people behind Yuan Li Jun had already started to prepare torches, Ran Yunda and the others knew that they could no longer continue to hide. In the end, they had no choice but to stand out. As the strongest person in the group, Ran Yunda, who was also named by the other party, took the initiative to stand out and question him. Senior Brother Run, I know that you are Senior Brother Gong's confidant. Senior Brother Gong is also an expert in Fushi's 8 trigrams and is an expert at the peak of 9th-grade martial ancestor realm. Yuan Li Jun said politely as he waved his hand, indicating for the few people who had lit the torches to extinguish them. Yuan Li Jun, since you know that I am Senior Brother Gong's confidant and you know his methods, why do you still dare to follow us and threaten us? Seeing that the other party had directly pointed out his identity and the backing behind him, Ran Yunda immediately became nervous. Just as he had questioned, since the other party dared to continue to follow and threaten him despite knowing his identity, it meant that they had ignored Senior Brother Gong's methods or that they had a way to avoid Senior Brother Gong's divination. Senior Brother Run, you misunderstood. We did not follow the few senior brothers and junior sisters, let alone threaten you. Yuan Li Jun hurriedly denied as he cupped his fist. Yuan Li Jun, since it is a misunderstanding, we will take our leave first. From Yuan Li Jun's slightly raised lips, Ran Yunda knew that the other party was obviously fooling him. However, he did not want to continue to pursue the matter. He only wanted to leave this place quickly. Even if he had to temporarily give up the elemental energy fruit in the valley and the special beast that Senior Brother Gong had specially instructed him to capture. Senior Brother, run, there is no hurry, Yuan Li Jun advised with a smile. After that, he waved his hand and the 40 people behind him quickly surrounded Ran Yunda and the other 6 people. Yuan Li Jun, what is the meaning of this? Seeing that Yuan Li Jun's people had surrounded him, Ran Yunda, who had mobilized the elemental energy in his dantian and was ready to break out of the encirclement at any time, questioned loudly. Senior Brother, run, don't be so angry. I, your junior brother, have no ill intentions. Facing Ran Yunda's gloomy expression, Yuan Li Jun said with a smile. Who? Turning his head to look at the 40 over people surrounding him, Ran Yunda took a deep breath before slowly dispersing the essence energy that he had just mobilized. Because he knew that it was impossible for the 7 of them to break out of the encirclement. Therefore, whether he chose to surrender or fight to the death, he wanted to know why Yuan Li Jun was following him. Yuan Li Jun, just say it. Why are you following us? That's right, Yuan Li Jun said with a smile when he saw that Run Werder had calmed down temporarily. There is no enmity between us. Wouldn't it be great if we could communicate peacefully? Yuan Li Jun, I don't have time to listen to your nonsense. Just state your intentions. Interrupting Yuan Li Jun's mischievous smile, Run Yunda tried his best to control his emotions and shouted. Seeing that Leap Cloud's anger had reached its limit, Yuan Li Jun did not continue to provoke the other party's patience and directly stated his intentions. According to the information I received, Senior Brother Gong, who is proficient in Fushi's 8 trigrams and is good at calculating fate, had once inadvertently calculated that after the opening of the Blue Moon's secret realm this time, an extremely precious wind-tailed fox that could reach the 3rd order honorable realm in the future would appear. Is that right? Where did you hear this news from? Hearing Yuan Li Jun mention the wind-tailed fox, Run Yunda's expression changed as he shouted. When he participated in the Blue Moon's secret realm's trial this time, Senior Brother Gong had entrusted him with 3 missions. The first mission was to find a way to use the special environment of the Blue Moon's secret realm to eliminate the Achievement Palace's biggest enemy, Yu Haoran. This was also the main reason why he had been protecting the girl called Jingya. Because Senior Brother Gong had used Fushi's 8 trigrams to calculate that the girl called Jingya had a very special relationship with Yu Haoran. Not only would the 2 of them meet in the secret realm, Yu Haoran would also take care of Jingya until the secret realm closed. The second mission was to capture a newly born wind-tailed fox whose intelligence was still in its infancy and was suitable to sign a beast pet contract. Wind-tailed fox was one of the few overlords among the thousands of beasts in the profound sky continent that inherited the bloodline of an ancient divine beast. The bloodline of the 9-tailed fox had the potential to reach the peak of the Emperor realm. In the future, it would at least reach the 3rd order honorable realm. Of course, the reason why Senior Brother Gong wanted him to capture the wind-tailed fox was not to sign a beast pet contract with the wind-tailed fox. Instead, he planned to use the wind-tailed fox to propose to a peerless beauty who had the support of the top forces in the profound sky continent behind her. No, to be more precise, he planned to use the wind-tailed fox to win the heart of that woman. After all, with that woman's appearance and background, there were too many young talents who did not lose to Senior Brother Gong in terms of talent and potential. They were all madly pursuing her. The third mission was to find a mutated beast that was good at controlling spiritual sense, and give it a jade scroll. The Blue Moon's secret realm had been open for 8 days, and he had not completed any of the 3 missions. He was already very frustrated. Now that the secret of the wind-tailed fox had been leaked, How could Run Yunda not be shocked and furious? Looks like I guessed correctly. Not only does the wind-tailed fox exist in the Blue Moon's secret realm, it is very likely to appear in this valley. Through Run Yunda's loss of composure, the astute Yuan Li Jun not only confirmed his guess, but also deduced the exact location of the wind-tailed fox. Yuan Li Jun, the wind-tailed fox is very important to Senior Brother Gong. If you dare to fight for the wind-tailed fox with me, Senior Brother Gong will definitely not let you off after the Blue Moon's secret realm closes. Since the other party had already seen through his loss of composure, Run Yunda did not hide anymore and directly threatened him. Waving his hand, Yuan Li Jun acted as if he did not care about Run Yunda's threat or was not afraid of Senior Brother Gong behind him. He continued to speak of his second intention. Senior Brother Run, it is said that there is a three-colored cloud lotus in the Blue Moon's secret realm that can be directly refined into a King Stage extreme-grade artifact. I wonder if Senior Brother Gong has revealed its exact location to you? Originally, Run Yunda was furious because the other party had guessed his mission. However, when he heard the other party mention the three-colored cloud lotus, a strange smile immediately appeared on his face. Yuan Li Jun, it looks like your information is outdated. The tricolored cloud lotus in the Blue Moon's secret realm has already advanced to a five-colored cloud lotus. As long as you use the tempering method, you can directly refine it into a supreme-grade Emperor defensive arcane artifact. What? The three-colored cloud lotus has advanced to a five-colored cloud lotus. Not noticing the strange smile that flashed across Run Yunda's face, Yuan Li Jun asked in surprise. That's right. Nodding his head, Run Yunda did not hide anything about the advancement of the three-colored cloud lotus. Instead, he directly pointed out the exact location of the five-colored cloud lotus. There is a natural swamp about 2,500 miles southeast of this valley. The five-colored cloud lotus is in the swamp. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.